What's going on, guys? This podcast is brought to you by manscaped.com/RBP. And I just want to let you know about the Lawnmower 4.0. And if you use code RBP, you get 25% off. I'm going to show you guys the website really quickly. If you go to manscaped.com/RBP, you can check out all the cool stuff they have. They have the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the Lawnmower 4.0 with the detachable head where you can put the shaver on. And then you can also get the Performance Package 5.0 that has the boxers. It has the crop soother. It has everything in it, the nose trimmer and all that. So guys, get to Manscaped, support the podcast, support Manscaped for sponsoring us. Use code RBP at checkout for 20% off plus free shipping. Hi, Mike.
What's up?
I was recording the... Don't worry about it. Anyway, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Seth.
What's up, gentlemen?
What is this cottage-like background you have?
This is my basement.
Oh, okay. I like it. It's very, very Seth.
So, and
did you chop all that?
I like it a lot.
Did you chop all that wood yourself?
No, the guy before did. It's all
okay.
Amish rough cut timber. So upstairs is like very basic white woman-esque. And it makes it very nice. And then you come down into the basement and it's rough cut Amish timber, very camp-like-esque look. I got to redo the ceiling, and then my office that I'm redoing is right there on the other side.
Did you have to renovate any of your house when you moved in, or is that like how it was when you moved in there?
I am the king of house projects.
Oh no!
If I do them, they get 3/4 of the way done.
You're one of those guys.
But we've put on an addition in a garage, and we remodeled the kitchen like during COVID. We had a company come in and do the kitchen.
So we renovated my whole house when I moved in, like the whole thing. And I have a guy that helps renovate. Well, he does the renovation. He doesn't help. He does the renovations. And he's exactly like you. He'll come in, but he's like a 95/5. He'll do 95% of the project, and then he'll leave little things like he'll forget to put like the electric outlet cover on, and like just really, really little shit. And I'm like, why can't you just,
bro, you can fucking figure that.
Like, why? I know I can do it. That's not the point. But like, why don't you just finish it? Like, just
that shit on, man.
Glue it on. Don't even use the screws.
Glue it. Yeah. Glue gun to the wall. Yeah.
Do you pay him 95% of what he asked to?
I should. I told him that. I said, you know what? I said I'm going to pay you $0 until it's done. And then anyway, no, I just so who chose the basic, like, does your wife like my wife, or she's like, you can do whatever you want with the basement, but I get to do the upstairs?
Yeah. So we live in the house. Ben, he's our one content creator. We were over shooting content a few weeks ago, and Hannah redid, all the stuff for spring and all the new stuff, the new decorations. And right where the coffee is, he's like, you live in one of those houses, huh? And I'm like, what? You've been here a million times. What the fuck are you talking about, Ben? And it says, home is where the heart is.
Oh, fuck.
And it says, home. I get another sign. I was like, yeah, dude. Look, the kitchen says kitchen. That's our house.
That's okay. It's nice to have a woman's touch, because if we did it, it would look fucking like a bachelor pad. Like it would just look like shit.
Clint Eastwood on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
would have empty white walls like an insane asylum.
Yeah. No, I would probably have like I have
Mike sounds there.
I kind of have I have like some Bruce Lee posters and a couple Muhammad Ali posters, and I went to put them up even in the basement, in the living room area of the basement. And someone's like, no, you can put that up in your office. We're not putting like fighting shit all over the walls.
That's all you get.
Yeah. I get my office. That's it. Anyway,
I moved into an apartment when I was a professor in Central Missouri. I moved into an apartment, and they prepped the apartment really well, except they didn't take one of those stickers off the wall, and it said home in cursive, but the first loop of the cursive H and the dash were really close together, and the other part of the H was further. It was the first time I ever read it. It looked like phloem, and I was like, what the fuck is phloem? And then I could never unsee it. Every time I'd look at it, it'd be like Floam. And then I liked it. I was like, fuck it, Floam. So
You
people
left
came
it,
over.
you
They're like,
just left it on the wall.
did you put that up there? I'm like, no, but I like Floam. And they're like, oh, it is Floam. What the fuck? So
Listen.
yeah, some white people shit.
When Paul bought his first house, this is how much of a bachelor he was, still bouncing and everything. He had his coffee table in his living room was a cardboard box. He just took the cardboard box, flipped it upside down, and he was using that as a coffee table for like
That's like fresh divorced dad shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm feeling the energy right now because my wife is away on like a work trip, and I use one plastic cup for all of my fluid needs, and I wash it every day before I go to sleep. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm a fucking loner serial killer weirdo. That's me.
Okay, but wait, I have a question about this. So you wash it at night, and then in the morning you reuse it for the rest of the day for various liquids.
Well, some of the liquids are water, so I figure that's like washing and drinking at the same time.
Do you use the same plate as well, or no?
No, but I use like 2 plates, maybe.
Yeah.
To be honest, half my shit is from like meal prep, like microwavable shit. I'm too pathetic even for plates. I had a thought yesterday. I was like, it was nighttime and it was my last meal, and I like sit down with the dog on the couch and watch YouTube, and I eat like a healthy version of a TV dinner, basically a meal prep thing. And I'm like, this is what success looks like, huh? Very well. So it is.
My wife.
I remember years ago, like whenever we were all first coming up, like, I mean, Michael Liberatore was like coming on the scene, and he was the guy. And he did like a food video about what he was eating, because he was coached by Palumbo at the time. So I just remember him, like, he was eating, I think he had shrimp and something else, and was somehow getting shredded in this odd diet. Yeah. But whenever he opened up his silverware drawer, there was one knife, one fork,
I knew you were gonna say
one
that.
spoon. And I'm like, he's like, it's just me, guys. Yeah. I don't need much more than this. And I'm like, man, I was like, yep.
You know what's
We're
crazy?
all the same.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that? So my wife would get furious with me when I was dieting for a show, because I would use the same plate all day long, like other than my breakfast. So I would make like oatmeal and eggs or whatever, and I put ketchup on my eggs. Though that shit would go in the wash. But then the rest of my plates for the day, because it was like either chicken and rice or steak and rice.
Same one.
It's dry. I'm like, I just use the same plate. It's still clean. So I use the same plate up. But when it comes to utensils, I have to have a drawer. I have like 25 forks. I don't know why. I just have to have as many utensils as possible. I don't ever like to run out of utensils. So I don't know, like
and you use a fresh one every meal.
Fresh, of course. Yeah. This is, I think that's a little, I think
what kind of animal do you think Fouad is here, Iain?
It's dance over here. Fuck.
Anyway, Iain, the hair's looking good, buddy.
No, I got a serious head of hair coming in here. Right?
Yeah, the fucking it almost doesn't look fake.
Ooh.
Once this red bit goes away.
No, that's what I wasn't being. No, Mike, it's a Mike.
This is my fucking hair. Excuse me. They just pulled it from here and put it up here. It's my fucking hair.
Mike, I don't know if you. I don't know if you know, but Iain had a transplant. Like, what was it now? 4 months ago.
First week of December. Yeah.
Yeah, December. So
is that you and C-Bum got the same?
Yeah. Yeah, we went together.
I saw some shit about that. That's cool, man. You went somewhere else or some shit?
We went to Turkey, yeah.
You fucked that. Are you out of your mind? I mean, just kidding. Turkish fans, hello.
Hey, look, I survived, so.
For now.
No, but no, it's coming in. We have a deal. Iain said he wouldn't cut the top of his hair. He can shave the sides, but he wouldn't cut the top of his hair for 1 year.
Cut the top here for a year.
Well, I mean, I don't know how Chris is going. I don't know when his pictures get posted.
Well, Chris has shaved his the whole time for some fucking reason.
Seth, I know what you're gonna say.
Why would he? Because it looks way shorter. I'm like, why wouldn't look at your head of hair and look at his? I'm like,
I think it was like
a bad name now, or what?
Yeah, short-term win decision of having it like uniform at a time. Like when it was like an awkward where like this was kind of fucking patchy and the rest of my hair was starting to grow. But then after that, it's like, it was like 2 weeks like that. And then it all kind of grew together. So it's like, he did it, but then he kind of kept it like that. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
I think
fucking let it grow. It was a silly decision for sure.
But Iain told us, in Chris's defense, he had a lot of appearances to do. So he was trying to make it not look shit.
Yeah. But against Chris's defense, if that fucking makes sense. in offense to Chris.
Yes, that's what, there you go.
Offensively to Chris. I think you would have been doing less damage by just wearing a hat than taking a razor to the hair, to taking an electric shaver to the fresh, delicate follicles. You know, I think if you're doing an appearance, you wear a hat for 6 hours in the day. I think, you know, they don't recommend it at that like point to wear for long durations. But I think it wouldn't have been that big of a deal compared to like fucking shaving.
Okay, well, in defense of Chris, in defense of Chris, they are just going to give him as many free transplants as he wants, so he can just go back and get it done. Like
that's true, but
15.
The procedure fucking sucks, so you don't want to do it again if you don't have to.
No,
Does
I
it
agree.
suck?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tell us how it sucks,
Chris. He's having the first child.
It's really
not going to be
long.
there for much longer anyway.
Sorry,
What'd you say? What'd you say, Seth?
Oh,
I said, well, it's my turn to be in offense to Chris.
Yeah.
Why am I the only one defending?
He's having his first child, so it's about to get cooked.
It's all gonna go anyway.
It's all gonna go.
What's he in for, Seth? You're the only one here with kids. Is he completely fucked or what?
No, it's beautiful. Like for the first several years, dude, it's one of the coolest things in the world.
Yeah.
But like all the old heads in the gym that were telling me, like whenever their daughters got older and stuff, like it's going to get really hard. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. My kids are great. Like, look at this. It's awesome.
Yeah.
16-year-old daughter driving, boyfriend, real life. Like she's a young woman, bro. It's one of the scariest, most anxious things in the fucking world.
Yo, did the boyfriend meet you?
Oh, dude, it don't matter. No.
Did he start shitting his pants literally? I'd be like, okay, why?
This fucking freak that cuts wood and fucking shoots guns and shit.
He's an awesome kid, but you have to remember, like, dude, he's incredibly smart, great kid, phenomenal, like works hard. Like I can't complain about anything, but it's her.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we were all 16, 17, 18 at one point, but like it's the reality of life setting in that you're like, I really hope I did a good job. Did I do a good job?
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
Her driving, leaving the house, you know, they're growing up. She's a young woman now. So like in the beginning, like, dude, whenever you got little kids, you just don't sleep for a while. That's all.
Yeah.
The kid's up at night, you just don't sleep, but then the kid loves you and all these wonderful things and holidays and them growing up and doing all these incredible things. It's awesome.
Yeah.
When they get older, dude, I never thought I would feel like I do. I'm shitting my pants now with a 16-year-old. All the old guys at the gym were right. They were all right. Damn. It's way harder when they get older. It sucks.
It's funny you said that because Paul's oldest daughter is 14 now. And he's starting to deal with like the high school shit and like, you know, just like some of the but he told me, and it's funny he said something about parenting. He's like, there's not one style of parenting. He's like, your style of parenting has to change as they age. Like you have to learn all new shit in like these various stages of like toddler to like, you know, 5 to 10 and then 10 to 15. He's like, I've had to revamp like my parenting techniques throughout each period.
He's 100% right. And also like for the type of kid, like, dude, all three of the kids are growing up in a similar environment of like, you know, love and all this stuff. But Adeline is very driven, hardworking, smart. But like, if you tell her to just shut up and go do work, like that's what she's going to do.
How old is Adeline? How old is Adeline now?
She's 16. She'll be 17 this year. Emmy is 10. She just turned 10.
Okay.
Emmy is just like,
can she hear this?
really good at gymnastics but she's kind of an airhead. And I'm like, okay, I got to treat her a little different than I treat this one. It's the fun of parenting, but it's also, that's what makes it stressful because, and they're also females. I don't know what a 16, 17, 18-year-old female thinks like. I don't know. I know what a dude thinks about.
Hey,
not that complicated, really.
Just makes it scarier. Yeah.
I wonder this too, because Paul's second kid is kind of like flighty like that as well. So I'm wondering, is that like a symptom of over parenting the first kid and then being more relaxed on the second kid?
Adeline thinks so.
Yeah. She's like, fuck off,
you were an asshole to me. You yelled at me about everything. Look how nice you are to her.
Yeah. How old's the little guy? 2, 3?
He'll be 4 in
4.
2 months.
Fuck, time flies, eh? Holy shit.
Getting old.
I like that you're using them in the ads though. That's cool.
Oh, dude, that video that we posted of me, I was just trying to show people that I was doing flies with the 85s again, like, because I'm strong.
Yeah.
And he comes over and he wanted to, I was like, yeah, get behind me, because he's in it. And then he just started saying like, pull, like spotting me. I'm man, this kid's cool.
How many extra reps do you get when your kid's fucking spotting you? It's like,
so I didn't, when I was like in it, like I wanted to get the 85s on flies, and then I started hearing them. I'm like, oh my God, is this awesome? I can't believe the camera's on right now.
Yeah.
This is like, I captured a moment. It was really cool.
But the real question is, did you use full range of motion with the 85s? No.
85s were used. That's all we'll say.
85s were used. Me and Mike got into a long debate last podcast about full range of motion and partial reps and all that. So I figured I would have Seth on because he's a partial rep guy and you guys could fight about it. And I don't have to be the one fighting about it.
I'm excited because this is the first time I've actually met you, Mike, and on here. And then in hopefully in the next couple of weeks up in Detroit, we'll get to hang out as well and do some training or something. But I mean, full range of motion, obviously it works.
Don't back down. Don't back down now, Seth.
Say what you said before he got on. Like,
but now
it's 85s though. It's 85s, so
still the 85s, dude. I can hit the hundreds for fucking out here.
Yeah.
But like these are things like whenever, because we were talking at the office the other day, whenever it was announced that you were going to be there, and Fouad was saying we can come train and do all this. It's like these are things that I would love to have in person about partial reps, because like a 3/4 reps or constant tension on it. Because if you do the full range of motion for someone like, obviously being a little more advanced, but it's like on a 3/4 rep, instead of coming all the way in right to here, I believe that there is a ton of benefit on doing it 3/4 over full range of motion. Maybe not in every instance, but in certain instances, I believe that it's more beneficial.
Well, I just want to preface this really quickly. I don't think Mike ever stated that the bottom half of the rep was bad. He was more, I think, Mike, you were stating more that most of the people he's critiquing, he's critiquing that they don't do the full stretch when they're doing the partial. They do the easier part of the rep.
Oh, you're talking like if they're coming down, you're talking they'll go to here instead of like a deep.
Yeah. Instead of getting
nasty.
Am I correct, Mike, about that? Sorry.
Yes, very much so. I mean, most of the time my criticisms are leveled at people that I'm comfortable assuming the only reason they train the way they do is ego. And like you guys, like there's technical discussion we could have, which would be awesome, about what is most effective, what science says, what practical experience says, and it's all really good. But the vast majority of people that do the kind of partial range I'm talking about is guys who try to really figure out which range of motion can they lift the most in. And they don't really care about challenging the muscles. They just want to fucking that one bikini bitch at the fucking corner of the gym to notice me fucking once, finally, for the love of God, just notice that I'm here. And if I drag the 95s over, that bitch looks over. Now, if I drag the 70s over, she's like, nah. And so I'm trying to do something with the 95s. I don't really quite know what it is, but you end up getting kind of pulse reps or whatever type of bullshit. And then, like, I swear to God, if you ask most of those people, like, so, like, what do you think about full range of motion? What do you think about the deep stretch? You're presuming that they're thinking at all. I don't think they're thinking much. Most of these motherfuckers are just kind of doing shit,
Well,
I guess then from our argument, we are very understanding that the full stretch, like the stretch at the bottom, is vital.
Well, Seth, I just want to touch on the last debate we had as well. I was never defending those people that are like just trying to easily get through a rep with, like, you know what I mean? I think where me and Mike really, I don't want to say disagreed. We were having like a good debate about it, but I like doing stuff like partial reps more at the end of a set. I'm a 3/4 guy, I think I would say.
Maybe I'll guess this. Your argument of the full range of motion is that whenever someone's doing any kind of press or something like it, it's not coming all the way down. It's coming right to here and then up. So it's like the 3/4 of the way down and then all the way back up. Am I correct in that? Or like the
exactly.
like that that 60 or 40% motion rather than all the way down and 3/4 up or 3/4 down. It's like they're in the pulse rep range.
Yeah,
what you're
I
saying.
can even be more specific. There's tons of cases of this, but one specific one is like a few years back, it became very fashionable to do incline barbell press, whether on a Smith machine or a free weight, where you would stop like intentionally like 2 inches above your pecs. And a lot of people are doing this. And there was all sorts of reasons given. We now know through lots of direct science that this is probably not the best idea, but it grows muscle. All these things do. But that bottom several inches, am I right, fellas? Anyway, so the bottom several inches are actually probably the most growth promoting part of the movement. And when people excised that completely and started to do this kind of like, I only sort of incline to 2 inches above, you know, like maybe some of them have thought this through. Some people sure had some kind of notional reasons, like, well, this is why I think it's advantageous. So we could parse those. I think I've parsed them pretty well. I can always defend my position. But I think a lot of people just kind of saw big dudes doing that, and there was just a fucking awesome excuse for them to be able to finally do 4 plates on the incline, man. And it's like, motherfucker, you're not that guy.
Mike, can I ask you
Yes.
a question about that? Because this is actually a perfect example. Because one of the things I want to ask you about, because I watch your videos when you put them on Instagram. That's actually
Which ones? Oh, Instagram. Sorry, I know which ones.
the very specific. That's a very specific question I want to ask you, because I was one of those guys. Now, whether it was right or wrong, I'm not going to debate, because like I said, I'm not a scientist. It just felt right to me, but it was kind of backed up by John's reasoning. Now, if you're benching 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, whatever it may be, if you're here and you're stopping, like say an inch from your chest, it's almost, you got a 90-degree bend in your elbows, maybe a little less than 90 degrees. I feel like it's a little safer for the shoulder joint than coming so far deep that you're like in a position where your shoulder is now doing a lot of the work versus your chest. So, and this was John's reason too. John used to actually put like a little contraption he had on your chest and be like, he called it a shoulder saver is what he called it.
You would do board presses.
Yeah, it was kind of like board presses. Yeah. But, and so that was kind of my reasoning. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I'm not going to, I can't debate you on that. It was just the reason why I did it.
Sure.
So how do you feel about putting the extra stress on the shoulder joint, or does it even put stress on the shoulder joint?
I'd approach this with kind of 2 pathways. The first pathway is if someone in real life tells me that going any deeper or going in a certain technique that most people consider correct is hurting their connective tissues, I usually just don't push the matter any further, because like, fuck, man, like, what am I going to tell you? Like, no, go lower and your shit fucking snaps. And I'm like, oh, just kidding. You were the exception. Like, that's fucked up. So if you have specifically shoulders that are already hurt and you have time and time again tried to get the deep stretch, but like, dude, every time I go for the deep stretch, my shoulders hurt more. It's not an accommodation thing. I even took weight off the bar. I tried to restart from 135 and it just fucks them up, because we can be fucked up. For example, now I can do it again, but for a long time I had hurt my pecs so much from training like shit years ago that they were kind of pre-torn and fucked up, and I couldn't arch and retract my presses. I wouldn't push my chest up. I would actually completely protract my shoulders at the top of every rep before I went down.
Yeah.
And people would be like, isn't that wrong according to what you say? And I'm like, yes, but I'm fucked up. And if I did it the right way, I would be hurt the next day.
Right.
So if you have a history of shoulder injury and you notice that you can't go below a certain point without really, really aggravating the fuck out of it, I would say, yeah, try like easing in, try using less weight, try a different exercise. But if all that fails, dude, fuck that. Then yeah, the partials is all you got. And sometimes that's just what you have to do. It's like if you see a guy like who's upright rowing with straps and you're like, do you want to use your hands? He's like, I broke both my wrists and they never healed properly. You're going to feel fucking stupid about that. You're like, well, fucking pussy, like you break your wrist jacking off. Like, all right, thanks kid, get out of my face. But on the other hand, if you have no compelling reason to believe that your shoulders are hurt and you get a really deep, gnarly chest stretch at the very bottom of the movement and you don't feel especially anything weird in your shoulders, then like at face value, you should probably do a really deep stretch. As a matter of fact, you can even do better than a barbell. You can do dumbbells, you can do a camber bar, or you can sink way below your chest, and many people can, and they get even more benefit. And just on pure like theoretical grounds, any deep range of motion you have with your shoulder usually strengthens your shoulder joint over time instead of makes it weaker. We do not get stronger by avoiding difficult ranges of motion. We get stronger by slowly progressing through them. And so,
I think it's the same thing as the incline bench, where people do it because they don't know or don't think, and then they use that as the justification after of like, oh, I don't want to fuck my shoulders up. It's like,
right.
that wasn't your reason. Your shoulders are fine 95% of the time. Yeah. It's just the reasoning they give after the fact when they've
okay, so can I touch on this real quickly? my shoulders weren't fucked up.
Yeah.
But I was worried it was almost like a risk reward. So am I going to fuck my shoulders up by going that deep with 315 or 405 versus maybe being a little safer and not going to that? Like, how much reward am I getting versus risk of going the extra 2 inches? That's kind of like, that was the don't make a dick joke.
Oh,
but that
come
was,
on. I was going to make a condom joke.
you know, but honestly, that was the fear. That was John's fear. That was kind of like a lot of guys. That's kind of what they thought was, what's the risk reward? Am I benefiting so much that it's worth risking a shoulder injury by going deeper? And the other thing I'll preface it with is, if you hadn't been going deeper since the beginning of your career, and now all of a sudden you're doing that, that's also going to be a little different.
Real bad idea. You got to ease into it for sure. So what I would say is the benefit of going deep is that it grows your pecs more. It's pretty convincing at this point.
Yeah.
The other benefit of going deep is it improves long-term shoulder health and resiliency.
Okay.
There's not a cost.
So I'm going to bring this up. So I touch I have crazy mobility in my shoulders.
Right.
And like I go get a super deep stretch with the flies all the way down and deep with all the dumbbell presses. And my brother, before he became a chiropractor and he was with me training for shows and things like that, he's like, dude, you have a crazy range of motion in your shoulders. He's like, crazy. You have all this muscle and it's not like you still have mobility. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I feel like this is a reason that I have a thicker chest.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I would imagine so. And now as he's, gone through all his chiropractic school and been doing it for 10 years, he's like, your shoulders are so strong from this crazy range of motion that you've had, and your chest has not lost thickness because of what you do. And I'm like, I felt the same. I think that in my head, I was like, if I get a deeper stretch, my chest is going to be thicker. So that was my only thought process of why I had such a deep range of motion or deep stretch all the way down. Cause I'm like, it's going to make it thicker. And he was also said that, like the force production areas, like some people, whenever they go down and they have tighter shoulders, they might not be able to get down because like you're 2 inches above or so. And then their force production is in their delts rather than their chest. He's like, you'll see those people kind of sit with a bigger front delt, little rounder, and a little bit of a shallower chest. And he's like, at that point, that their force production area is going to be their shoulders. He's like, yours is your chest. And he's like, I think it's from being able to have such a deep stretch. And as you pull or push, it's connecting with your chest right away. So these are all the things that I just kind of adopted over the years of trying to think of how to get the biggest I could. And I've always attested like my thick, dense chest to that deep stretch rather than stopping right there. And I've been doing it since the beginning.
So I think the misconception I had was that going that deep, I never had the misconception that it would make my chest bigger. I knew that, but I didn't know that it would make my shoulders stronger. I thought I was actually putting them at risk. So that was kind of my perspective on it, and then why I didn't do what Mike is saying or what you did, Seth.
Yeah. And again, that never crossed my mind. I don't think when I was younger, like, oh, it's going to hurt my shoulders, because I'm like, it's going to make my chest bigger. And I just want a big chest. So it might have been maybe dumb on my part for not even thinking that way, but I attest that to like why I look the way I do from that, at least from the chest standpoint.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Iain, sorry.
No, actually, Iain, we didn't go through like everybody, like, do you touch your chest whenever you're doing barbell?
Now I definitely try to, because obviously I know when I was younger, I was definitely like the guy Mike was describing initially, where
so was I.
I was the strongest guy in the gym, and I wanted to like fucking put the stamp on it by whatever I needed wiggle room to make that 4 plates to 5 to whatever, I would fucking jimmy that rep as much as I could to get as much weight on that bar as I possibly could. So, I was like ego lifting to the fucking umpteenth degree. And I mean, even into my pro career, like I was a 6-plate fucking bench presser, and I had the chest like a fucking prepubescent girl, So I mean, like it wasn't doing anything for my chest development. I had gigantic front delts and fucking massive triceps and literally zero chest. So, over time, I really had to rethink my chest training. My ability to like really move my scapula and fucking like get things low and get good stretch. and things like that, which I noticed a lot more progression in my chest. And I never had any shoulder injury, so I was never worried in that regard. But yeah, I mean, the only thing was giving it up from an ego perspective for me, which once I'd been so strong, I didn't really care about being stronger because I'm like, I've been that guy. Fuck it, I'll move on and be something else, you know? Like I've been a strong guy. I'd rather be a decent bodybuilder now because this is actually how I fucking feed myself. So, you know, at that point when I had like that realization, that I started to try and, you know, be as good, especially with chest training as I could from a range.
So Mike, if someone's trying to strengthen their shoulders, say, let's say they don't have any shoulder problems, but they're trying to strengthen their shoulders, do you suggest, let's say they bench 315 normally, but without that extra like 2 inches at the bottom of depth, would you suggest going to 225 and getting that extra stretch and strengthening their shoulders to get back to 315 one day?
Yeah. In that scenario, that's probably good practice. Now, it might not be 225. It might be 275. You know, 225 is a long way down.
Yeah.
But also, if you learn how to do a proper powerlifting arch and retraction, you go down to 275, and a couple weeks later, you're back up to 315, hitting the best reps of your life. Most people don't know how to bench technically. A lot of bodybuilders don't know how to bench or squat or deadlift properly. I'm sure you guys have seen that. Like, guys pulling 700 and he just kind of picks it up and you're like, well, okay, you're strong as fuck, but goddamn, you're dumb. Luckily, you're not in fucking pieces yet. But also, it's easy to pick out people who are super strong and non-technical because they're still around. You don't see social media posts from a guy that had no technique, lifted wrong, fucked his shit up because he doesn't post anymore. He's like fucking weird guy in the comments, like, yeah, man, I used to sling with the best of them. 7 fucking plates, brother.
Okay,
fucked up my back, and you're like, all right, take your word for it.
Can I show you something, Mike? So this is your video here. So this I'm like 100% in agreement with. Like when I do a Smith machine incline press, this is exactly what it looks like. Okay, so I think
it's the doggy.
the dog's in your nut. Did you put some peanut butter on your nuts or what?
The dog is very well trained to go for my nuts at this point. I don't even need peanut butter. It's really just her job if you think about it.
So I think the part I'm like, that looks a little like extreme to me. Like it looks a lot deeper. And then same thing when you use, if I can find one with you using a camber.
I have a question for you, Mike. In terms of your like depth of stretch, do you go as deep as you possibly can? Or like, where is the limitation when there's something like the machine like that, like say where there was no bottom end of that machine, it would continue to fall below you as low as possibly you can. Would you go to a level of discomfort? Would you go like, where would the stopping point be for you there?
Well, Fouad, sorry, I don't mean to fuck your scrolling up, but if you go back up to that video of the Atlantis press machine.
Oh, the
Atlantis,
one with the
well, that's Canadian, right? You people, you all like that sort of thing. There it is. So, Iain, to answer your question directly, the lowest I can go is to where my muscles of my upper back touch together and I just can't go any lower. Okay. And that's actually what stops me, is not the chest stretch.
That's the answer to my question. Then.
Yeah. So that's as low as I go. And I have lots of friends that are not as jacked, but lift with really good technique, and they don't have that upper back problem. So they can go substantially lower. But typically the lower they go, especially in a press, the more their pecs stretch, and it's like fucking insane. It's like stiff legged deadlift going super deep with a tight back, like your hamstrings hurt more and more and more and more until they kind of stop and the muscle has been stretched to its physiological limit. And that's fucking awesome. There's not really a situation in there where the shit just snaps off, because the load you use is the predominant determining factor of if you get hurt or not. Like if you're pressing something you can really like easily do for sets of 15, like if you're getting hurt, man, it's just shit you were just fucking asking for it. It's just fate.
There's a dumbbell there for that you passed.
No, I'm looking for the cambered bar. So what so
it's been a while since I used that, so there's going to be a lot of weird pictures to scroll through before we get to that.
So Mike, you said if you can press 15, right? But what if you're doing a load that is more like you're doing a set of 5? Would you still hit that depth? Like, especially I got to find this cambered bar press, because I'm like, that almost looks scary to me.
I would assume the same principle apply. But...
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I want to show it because I don't think I've ever seen Seth or Iain do a bench press like that. So that's kind of why I'm saying, like, everyone's agreeing to this point, but I think there's a variety of degree in what we're talking about.
Yeah, like you were saying, like how his limit is how far he can actually stretch. Yeah. I don't think he's going to do anything that would be it's as strong as you can be for that range of motion. You know what I mean? Like on dumbbell presses, like I'm getting back to moving some weight. And it's like, oh, I can hit the 150s for the type of reps I want to get for 6 to 8. And I'm like, yeah, this feels good. But it's like,
but you wouldn't take the 150s to these new weird full ROM reps because you'd be like, I'm going to get 0 and I'm going to fucking get broken in half.
Well, I mean, I also think that if I come, like, I'm stretched, I'm here, I'm past.
Wait. What are you saying, Seth? Right. You go ahead. Say what you're saying.
So I'm stretched and I'm past 90 because I'm here, and that's past 90. Like I can feel it.
Right.
I can feel my back contracting.
Right.
And whenever I come up, I don't come all the way up because of the risk on the right tricep anymore. So it's like I'm here. I'm 7/8 of a rep. But then when I come down, I'm not like
that's the difference. That's the difference.
That's where Mike is going. That's what my question was essentially.
So this is what I'm. So guys, this is what's difficult on a podcast. This is what I'm trying to say, because we're all saying the same thing, but it doesn't look that way in real life, and I'm about to show you why. So this is what I mean. Like if
he certainly has the deepest like range of motion in his chest.
Right, and I'm not disputing that, but I'm trying to show the viewer kind of what the difference is. And what I'm asking is this depth dangerous when you're doing a set that you can only do with 5 reps? Like when you got a heavy like 315, a 405, like that's where I would be like, this is kind of scary to me now, because here's the cambered bar. And if you see the depth, it's like, this is way like, this
wouldn't be scary if you had been using that range of motion and progressive loads up to that point. If you had been using heavier loads in a reduced range of motion and then all of a sudden tried to do this range of motion with the same weight, well then or those reps would be scary.
Right. Iain just said it all, man. I couldn't put it better than that.
2 plates and a quarter at shitty reps, and then or not quite depth reps, and then all of a sudden you try and do 3 plates at this depth. Well, yeah, you're probably going to tear your shit.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to sit here and call them shitty reps. Like it's not.
No. I'm not.
I don't think you have to go. I don't think you have to go this deep for it to be a good rep. Sorry.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like if we're talking someone that was doing like we were talking at the beginning, that's going a few inches off their chest versus going all the way now to the stretch. If you're doing one to the other, the variance, I wouldn't try and use the same weight to do those.
So I agree with you. I agree.
You know what's super frustrating, but also awesome and incredible is that somehow all of these things work within bodybuilding.
Well, and we've discussed that too. Yeah.
That's what I find so fascinating about it, because it's like, you know, why someone's physique looks the way they do, or what it could be if they did this, you might never know, because they don't have the mobility, because they have that range of motion and this ability to do this. Oh, dude, you got to work on that alone. That alone takes time.
But my question, Seth, is we live in an era now of bodybuilding where people are trying to be perfect. People no longer, I don't feel like a lot of people
it's because they're young.
Have any wiggle room. There's less wiggle room to be a bodybuilder now than there was, say, 10 years ago. Now it's like, well, so-and-so said this is the best, so you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a sec, Fouad. Who gives a shit? Who
that's not the
says
point.
that people come up to you in real life and say this shit?
Wait, Mike, let's preface this first. I don't give a shit, but the point is we're doing a podcast, and I'm trying to explain to people kind of what Seth just said, is that these small degrees of differences don't necessarily make a ton of difference in the end. Like whether you're watching someone do this, or if your elbow was an inch higher, I personally don't think it's going to make a ton of difference in 10 years down the road.
I think 10 years down the road is where it makes the biggest difference. I think it's still a small difference. It's a small difference. You can make up for it in a variety of ways.
Sure.
You can just do one more extra rep or one more extra set.
Sure.
But I think you should be asking the question of, what is my best attempt at this game? How can I think through this shit? And at least every time, I might not get it right, but every time I come to the gym, I want to try my very, very best. And if there's a difference between excusing my shit that I just like to do versus challenging myself to do my very best, I'll take the very best. And I'll tell you why, Fouad, I totally hear your point about everyone's fucking optimal this, optimal that, blah, blah, blah. Also, a lot of the thing that you see, I'm assuming here, maybe you can correct me, but the whole like, well, it's not right, is like people in the comments, right?
Yeah.
I maintain that they're not really human beings in the comments. Like 50% of the people in the comments are interested, awesome people that are great. And the other 50% are just miserable cunts that no one's ever going to fucking talk to in their lives. So fuck them.
Right.
And those are most of the people that bring the trouble. But I would say this, the fundamental reason why bodybuilding specifically maybe not rewards optimal searching, but it makes some kind of intuitive sense to people to search for, is because of fucking placings, bro. And you're not going to replace placings. I took 8th at the Olympia instead of 7th. I took 2nd instead of 1st. You think people that take 2nd at the Olympia, Fouad, come home and be like, fucking just another year of doing me, baby. I've already got it all figured out. No, they're like, what the fuck could I have done better to fucking get just a little bit better? Because in 10 years from now, you could be, say, standing on stage, 2nd and 1st, you know, that whole Bob Ciccarello moment where like, and the new or old, we can't tell yet, and 5 minutes later he announces the shit. That moment of your life, 15, 20, 25 years into your training career, you're going to look back and you'll be like, man, I sure hope I optimized everything, because if you didn't, because you were like, fuck it, I'm just going to do what I like, dope, you had a great run, 2nd place, unbelievable, I'll never get that far in my bodybuilding career, it's fucking awesome. But if you did things just a little bit more meticulous, kind of like Dorian Yates kind of bullshit, where Dorian, for his era, thought a lot more about the shit than most other people did, and he got 6 fucking Sandows to prove the shit. So it's worth thinking about.
But I don't know.
There is a trade-off.
But I don't know if we can use that argument. I mean, Ronnie didn't do anything. Ronnie didn't do anything optimally. He's got 7, 8 Sandows.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's like,
100%. I was just using Dorian as an example of someone who thought shit through. Thinking shit through will do one of 2 things, and it's important because it's one of 2 things. Really thinking shit through and try to be a little bit more of a perfectionist can reasonably give you an edge. Maybe it's 5%, maybe it's 10, but it's an edge, and it adds up over time. It can definitely do that. So, on the other hand, thinking shit through too goddamn much to where it makes you neurotic and worried can actually secrete enough area under the curve cortisol for your entire life that you're down 5 or 10%. And it can just fucking deflate your passion for the shit so goddamn much that you're not even in the sport anymore. So you got to do a balancing act of as optimal as I can make the shit to where I still love the fucking game and I know when I'm doing a good job. That's the right answer. Some people are neurotic and they love that real optimal shit. It works for them. Some people are like, fuck it, YOLO, and that's great for them. But everyone should think at least a little bit about like, I really want to think this shit through if it fucking matters to me. It's worth thinking it through. But you don't want to go insane and be like, technically speaking, my knee angle is off. And you're like, dude, you're just losing your fucking mind.
That's the part that drives me insane. Is
totally. And that comments are full of those people.
Seth, I just have one thing to say real quick, and then I'll get off this.
You're good.
So the most important thing about this little piece that we talked about is what I wanted to get from it, which was doing what you're doing is actually healthier for your shoulders. I didn't know that. So I'm glad that why are you laughing?
It was just like such a roundabout way. Like that's
no. That's what that was the original. That was
right.
That was my original point, is I wanted to learn, because I didn't know that. I thought it was dangerous, but instead it's the opposite. So it's important, because I'm sure if I have that point of view, there's a lot of people watching that have that point of view too. So this was the main point of me bringing this chest thing up, is you're actually doing yourself a benefit by doing it Mike's way, not a disservice.
Well, that's why this podcast with the people that you bring on here, like everybody on here is pretty good at what they do. You know what I mean? And has had success. And a lot of the things that we're talking about are said by all of us, maybe in a little bit of a different language or in a different sense, but that optimizing who you are to be the best that you can be is everything. And sometimes these younger kids, or these younger cats at least, start thinking like, oh, the optimization needs to be perfect from a science standpoint. No. It needs to be perfect from your standpoint. And that's what makes bodybuilding so beautiful and insanely difficult and frustrating at the same time, because what works for Iain might not work for me, but might not work for you or Mike or something like that. And finding that balancing act between you as a whole, like, dude, I don't train my back the same way that I train my arms. We all learn that over time.
Right.
And it's interesting that Mike said that too, about the like suck the fun out, because I honestly, and me and Fouad have talked about this before I stepped away from stage and stuff. I actually did one thing that ended up causing the other. It's like when I was starting to feel like a little like lack of love for bodybuilding, I started over assessing the living shit out of everything, thinking that like, okay, like I need to like bring some more passion into bodybuilding. What am I going to do? I'm going to really be meticulous with everything.
That's going to make the passion increase.
Right. And it obviously just drove me more into the fucking shithole of like, fuck this nonsense.
But that's a natural thing.
But I like overthought. I'm like, okay, like I want to reinvigorate. I'm going to do better. What am I going to overthink everything, be super meticulous with my training? I started being very, very like, I overthought everything, and it just caused me more stress in a time when I already wasn't enjoying it. And then I just like,
But if I can just speak on your behalf for a second, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I also remember you thinking, I was 7th 2 years in a row. I need to adjust these areas of my physique So that's part of the reason why you were so meticulous. You're like, there's got to be something I'm missing in my training, and you went insane trying to find it.
Yeah, sure, to a degree, but I will also say the years where I was making the most amount of progress and also enjoying bodybuilding the most, coincided.
Yeah.
And they were the times when I was obviously meticulous with my training because it's my job and I should be. Like Mike said, you should be thinking about the shit if you want to be good at it and not walk away and be like, oh, I should have done this, you know?
Right.
I thought about it, but I didn't think about it past the degree of where it started to go the opposite, and where, like you said, like you got just low level cortisol all the time, which is what I ended up experiencing near the end. You know, where I started overthinking things and thinking about things of like, okay, I should be doing this. I should, oh, fuck. And I started overthinking things I'd done in the past. Like, fuck, maybe I should have been doing this for the last 10 years now, you know? And I'm like, well, it's done now. Like, what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah, that's a pointless thought.
Yeah, it's completely pointless, you know? So I started thinking about all these things versus, like I was saying, you know, 2020, 2021, 2022, you know, I still obviously thought very hard about my training. I tried to be as good as I could in my training, in my, you know, philosophy as training. I tried to be as smart as I could. I wasn't ever like a bozo trainer. You know, I tried to train smart and heavy and do everything and still have fun with it at the same time. But then once I started to do one, I went over the edge to the other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Ian, I'm following you for a long time. And I mean that literally. Turn around right now where you think I'm at. Mm-hmm. I follow you for a long time. And I remember, because, you know, like social media is so like, you get a lot of transparency and you get a lot of just opaqueness where you're like, I don't know why this person is saying these things. And I could just wonder. I remember, I forget when it was, a few years back, you had a streak of shows which were like underwhelming to you. I mean, the rest of us mortals were like, this is the man with the biggest shoulders I've ever seen in my entire life. His physique is damn near flawless. Why the hell is he upset? But you were like basically going to quit because you were like, dude, I don't really know what else I have to give. And then you took a little time and you came in with like a new prep coach and you just fucking stormed the shit and took 7th at the Olympia or whatever. Do you remember that? Like, what was it just that you weren't getting the results you wanted, or was it because, you know, are we allowed to talk about gear on here, or is that
yeah everything's like, there's no holds barred here? Because
I'm not going to name names, but Ian, you hired a prep coach at one point who's like kind of notorious for like, you know, a lot of gear. And I was like, and you were basically, you said something on social media effective, like, I don't know how much more I got in me for this kind of shit because I put a lot into this prep and I know how to read between the lines. I'm like, yeah, I can fucking tell. And it was kind of weird to see like, dude, I gave it so much and it didn't end up great. And do I really want to run grams again for what? It was that kind of, can you talk about that a little bit, or?
So are you talking near the end or like earlier before that?
He's talking about
earlier before that.
I think he's talking
that
about
would have been like the
2018,
19. You know,
yes.
I missed the Olympia in 19. You know, and that's when I started working with Patrick.
Yes, there you go. You dropped the name.
Yeah, no, at that point, it wasn't anything to do with drugs or anything like that. You know, I think I was more frustrated with how things have been going from a peak perspective. Like, we're getting to nuance bodybuilding stuff, obviously. You know, I was just, it seemed like we were being like inaccurate with our like peaking process. It was like, one show we would be good, and then the next show we'd be trying something completely different, even though we'd kind of like got a system down the last show, and it was kind of back and forth, which at the time was frustrating to me, obviously, because I felt like I was like on the cusp of like, you know, like what ended up happening, being 7th at the Olympia, and I won 6 shows in a row after that.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So I think, you know, one part of that was total transparency. When I was working, that was when I was with Matt, and when I left to go to Patrick. And I think part of it, and I've spoken about this before, was, you know, a lot of it is completely on my own, like, responsibility of that. I had got like a little neglectful, I guess, in that I was not like eager to please my coach anymore, you know? Like, it got to the point where I was like, I didn't feel like it was someone that I was like eager to please and like looked up to. And I was like, you know, I really want to like perform for this person. And when I went with Patrick, I found that again, where it was someone that I was like very eager to please and like really wanted to like perform well for them. And it kind of like relit something in me from a training and a bodybuilding perspective. I think a lot of it was just timing as well. You know, I think from 2019 into 2020, like, I was close, and I probably would have got there eventually anyways, you know, whether it had been with Matt or with Patrick. You know, it was just giving me the catalyst to kind of like give my mind what it needed at the time, I think, you know?
I think part of it was, I remember you telling me about this, was that Matt had become a friend. That's why you
And
didn't
that's
want
what I'm saying. When I'm saying you're
yeah.
please.
But
Like,
I'm just
look,
explaining
I worked with Matt again as the last show I ever did before I retired. So I went back to him again after Patrick. And because, our dynamic had changed. We weren't as, we hadn't been together for quite a period there where I was with Patrick. He had leveled up in his coaching, and had guys at the top of the Olympia with Nick and, Charles and Brett and Sean Clarita and all these guys, and our dynamic had kind of changed a little bit. So I felt that there was a chance that, we could work well together. And we did. But yeah, no, it became a point where, like, look, I think there is people that can work well with people that they have like a friendlier, like a peer relationship with. But for me, like, I come from like sports where like your coach isn't your friend,
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't look, me and Patrick were very good friends. I love Patrick. Like, we had a little bit of falling out, which we've re-met and, mended stuff like that. But I still consider him a very close friend, someone that I, look up to. But that's the key word, is that I look up to.
Well, Patrick
I don't see him as like my equal in like these things in certain senses. I see him as like there's a hierarchy structure that I'm, like I said, that I'm eager to please.
Yeah.
It sounds very sexual, but I swear I don't that way.
Didn't take it that way.
No, for anybody who knows Patrick, he has a very dad-like
That's exactly
approach.
what it is. Yeah.
So he makes you, and you know what, Seth, I'm pretty sure you can agree, and we've had this too, working with Hani. Hani also has that effect on you where you look at him as a mentor and you want to make sure you please him.
Well,
for whatever reason.
What he said whenever it was like, I said that was a really good point there. Eager to please. It's like you just, whenever you like, dude, there's a lot of really good coaches in our industry. Whenever you posted that thing, like, or people were like, who should Samson's coach be, and this and that. It's like, dude, that relationship is super important. Like it really is. And it's just with Hani, like, I was like, man, I look up to him. He was like the big brother I never had. And I was eager to please him because he was always like, he wanted to pull the best out of me.
Yeah.
Always wanted to pull the best out of me.
With Matt, and like I said, I have to take full responsibility for this because at this point, like, I was young and it was, me not putting my due diligence on my end of the relationship as well.
Yeah. And I think
we became friendly. And if he would ask me like, hey, can you send an update? I would be like, yeah, I'll send it later. And then blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd get tired and I wouldn't send it. Where with Patrick, if he sent it, I would be like, oh my God, like he asked, I got to send it now. Like it would be like urgent. Like it would be urgent because I didn't want to upset him, where I'd lost that feeling with Matt, which when we worked together, Matt was on my ass. And he was like, and he said to me, he's like, if we're going to work together again, he's like, we need to, there can't be any of that kind of shit. He's like, I'm going to hold you accountable. And like, there's I'm going to say tough things and I'm not going to worry if I'm going to upset you because you're my friend. We'll have uncomfortable conversations he's like, that I, take responsibility that I didn't necessarily have in the past because I didn't want to upset someone that was like in a friendlier position like that.
And that being
he made that personal growth that I also made as well. So yeah, it was a combination of things for sure.
And I think that the same thing. I blamed Hani whenever I fucking bombed at a show, and I'm like, dude, it was me the whole time.
Yeah.
Like that personal accountability is super important, and usually, like, you have to be coachable, and like you just admitted, like that's something that as we all have gotten older, that we're like, yep, I know what I fucked up. You should be able to admit those things and move on and hold yourself accountable. And I think that as we watch a lot of these younger guys come up through the ranks or just new to the industry, like we're watching them go through that because it's so much more visual and apparent. Like we see it in social every single day. Whereas back then,
it was also a time, like there was a combination of things, getting more like with training and things like that, where, I had a good decade of training, of like real training under my belt at that time. I was starting to like learn myself and like how to train a bit better and train like what training hard like really was at that point. Like when I was younger, like I was doing crazy amounts of volume and none of it was really like that productive, versus like as I got a bit older and got into my pro career, then I started to like, really learn how to train a bit better, like not perfect, but it was a progression. So I think there was a combination of that. Yeah. Just revamping my like eagerness to perform and please, plus then like some growth, like personal growth in terms of being more coachable, and also like from a training standpoint that kind of like led to a quick progression there,
Mike, have you ever had anybody coach you, or are you like your own coach? Because I know you've done a few shows. I don't know how many shows you've done. I know you did a couple last year or the year before, but how many shows have you done?
5 or some shit like that.
Have you ever had a coach?
A full-on coach? No.
What do you mean by half coach then? Like, what did you have?
Like
Just
a
a friend?
mentor.
Just a friend?
Like Broderick Chavez would consult with me on pharmacology and kind of theoretical nutritional stuff.
Sure.
He doesn't really coach much. He's just more of a consultant.
Yeah.
That's a question. Do you do coaching for training, or do you not do any personal stuff like that?
Do I coach other people?
Yes.
I used to a long time, but I haven't in a while anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, I coach my wife. I mean, that I don't think counts, but really the RP hypertrophy app coaches her at that point. And so I just make the program and then that's
So
it.
Mike, when you're prepping for the 5 shows or even whichever show you want to discuss, is anyone doing your nutrition, or are you doing your own? And what's your like philosophy on nutrition? Is it like if it's your macros? Is it like a no carb? Like how did you get ready for your shows?
Just like I'll shoot ideas off of Jared Feather.
Okay.
And he's real smart. He really knows his stuff. And so it's always good because, you know, you never can tell, like, do I know things, or am I just avoiding doing hard work, or am I being too hard on myself? Because there's multiple ways you can fuck that up.
Right.
My philosophy on nutrition is that the biggest thing that drives being leaner is a calorie deficit. If you think you're going to be eating 6,000 calories a day into a show, unless you're Ronnie Coleman, you probably have news coming that's not it's not going to work like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, protein is kept like at a gram per pound. Or I usually keep it a little bit higher than that. I try to get in enough fats so that my dick still works. You know,
There's a good idea.
I haven't eaten fats in years because I just abandoned that whole idea of a dick was never working to begin with. But you know,
so wait, Mike, before you go on, so is it fair to say you have a if it fits your macros type of style?
Well,
or do you actually put a lot of stock in like the actual foods you're eating? Like, are you eating like cereal and shit like as part of your macros, or are you just
sometimes.
like no? Okay, so you do
but mostly I eat like chicken and rice and fucking broccoli slaw. That's like most of my diet. Okay. And then I'll eat like some protein bars here and there. I'll have like a whey protein shake with Gatorade during my workout. And then like at night, I'll have a couple of like, what are those called? Greek yogurts and shit like that.
See, that's confusing to me because you have.
That's not prep, right?
No, that's prep.
That's prep. Oh yeah.
So this is confusing to me, and I want to touch on it real quick. So when you're talking about training, you're talking about being the best you can be and being very optimal. But then when you're talking about dieting, you're like, I diet with protein bars. So I'm like,
what's not optimal about that?
Well, it's not a great source of protein. There's
it's a phenomenal source of protein. It's mostly whey. So whey protein is like is superior to most food actually in every single test.
How many calories are in a protein bar? We say like 300.
However many it says on the box.
Right. So let's say it's 300 calories on a protein bar. Okay. That's okay. I don't know why you're laughing, but okay. So there's 300.
Ian, you son of a bitch, always laughing.
300 calories in a protein bar. Do you think that's equal to eating a whole food meal that you can get the 300 calories from?
Equal in what regard?
Equal in your macros, for example. Like if the protein bar says 30 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, whatever, do you think the food source is equal regardless to your body? Or is it more optimal to eat the same amount in whole foods for your prep, for the way your body looks, for everything?
It's so close I can't tell the difference in my own body. I'll tell you that much. And there's no theoretical reason to suppose it would be any different. But especially during the kind of main time of prep where you're actually getting lean, to me, it never seemed to make a difference. Now, some people, they get like bloated and water retentive with sugar alcohols, weird shit they put in protein bars. So like the conversation for what to eat the day before a show, the week before a show, 2 weeks before a show, that's a different conversation. That's peaking. And then you might only eat several foods that you know sit completely right with you and you're not doing anything fucking weird. But during the overall course of a diet, yeah, I think it's probably totally okay for almost everyone to eat some protein bars and have some shake and have some yogurt and stuff like that, because macros are there. Usually it's very high quality stuff. And now, like, I'm not eating fucking, no offense to the kind vegan bar company, but I'm not eating fucking like weird vegan protein sources like peas and hemp and pothead shit like that. You know, there's whey protein, casein protein, egg protein in the bars, and sugar and stuff like that. And that seems to be right on, you know?
So if you had a cap of, say, I got to get in 2,500 calories a day for my diet, or two, let's say you got to get 2,000 calories a day, right? During your prep. Do you not want all of those calories to come from somewhere that's beneficial to your body? Because I'm sure there's excess calories in a bar that are probably useless.
Can I interject for a second?
Yeah.
So just from my understanding, I believe, kind of answering your question for what Mike was saying is, like, he knows that whenever you're going to peak for the show, like, obviously those things that can add a little bit of inflammation or water retention or anything like that. Like, dude, I don't eat protein bars because I get bloated as fuck. Like, every single one, bloated as fuck. Look like dog shit. Don't do them. I don't even eat them for fun anymore because I know they're shit on me.
And they're not that fun to eat.
But what I'm saying is, like, you're saying you're stating that as you go into a show, like, you need to stay away from absolutely everything. We all know that we need to cut sugar alcohols out. We all need to know that we're cutting condiments out. We're cutting down on those things, anything to add that little bit of film as we go in. So you're saying that, like, when you're 8 weeks out, 6 weeks out, that doesn't play too much of a role. You're saying
that I understand already. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is, if your calories for the day, you're allowed to have, let's say you're allowed to have 2,000 calories. And let's say there's 100 calories in each bar that are fucking useless.
I don't know.
Or I don't want to say useless. I don't want to say useless, but I can say it could be better used. Like, let's say there's 100 calories in each bar that come from just simple sugar. And you're like, you know what? I think a more complex carb would be better for me. Why waste that 200 calories over the course of a day when you could put it into something else? That's kind of how my mindset works. Like, why am I eating these empty calories versus eating them from somewhere more nutritious? Because the protein bar, listen, I have a supplement company. I understand that whey is king when it comes to protein. I get it. But the rest of the bar is not king. So I'm like, why am I not using more nutritious sources for that? If I'm on such a low calorie deficit that I only have 2,000 calories for the day, why don't I want to maximize those 2,000 calories the same way where you're on the bench and getting that extra inch out of my chest is going to make my chest grow more over 10 years. Why not maximize those 200 calories over 12 weeks? Why does it only matter at the end? Like, it's the same. Yeah. It's the same concept. Do you understand what I mean?
Totally. So what do you think you're getting out of those calories from whole foods that you're not out of a bar?
Well, my body performs better with complex carbs. I feel better with complex carbs than I do with simple carbs. So for me, that's just a personal, like, I would rather eat the 200 calories from oatmeal than I would from like from like a simple sugar.
Yeah. So, like, if it's affecting your training, that's a very compelling reason to use different kind of foods.
Right.
But for me, it doesn't seem to affect my training.
Okay.
In any measurable way.
Okay, so that's kind of my point. Is if it affects performance, it affects maybe a complex appearance. Maybe it affects your 1 second, Ian. Maybe the complex carb also fills you up more. Like, if I eat 200 calories from oatmeal, I'm probably going to be more full before the next meal. Like, all these things kind of come into play, and I think that's why a lot of bodybuilders avoid supplements when they start a prep, is because these little minute things matter. So to me, there's a disconnect when your training is so perfect and then the diet has a little bit more looseness to it. That's kind of where, but then again, you're saying it doesn't, because those things don't affect you.
Yeah, seemingly they don't. And there's no good evidence in lots and lots of nutritional studies that a protein bar is meaningfully nutritionally different, as long as you're not eating exclusively protein bars or exclusively one food. If you have a high variety of foods and a large fraction of that is whole food and it's very nutritious, you have plenty of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean meats, a protein bar meal every day should predictably have no effect on you whatsoever or long-term gaining muscle, losing fat, etc.
I'm in like both camps here, because obviously most of 99% of my bodybuilding career, I was like, and Fouad knows, I was like the most anal, like eat perfectly clean, like nothing that wasn't whole foods. But that wasn't because I thought it was more productive necessarily. It's because I felt more hardcore and it made me feel better in the thing. Because I did my first because when I turned pro, and the first, you're going to listen because I have a proof.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
When I turned pro, and the 3 shows I did before that, when I worked with Greg Doucette, I ate protein bars, protein pudding. I ate popcorn. I ate fucking, it was like I would eat 2 or 3 whole food meals. I'd eat some kind of concoction. And that was the best conditioning I probably had in almost
I never stated that it doesn't work or it's not good. What I
Yeah,
say,
so I'm saying, look, I understand
I am.
because it's like I see that from a perspective of that it's scientifically no different in that the end result can be just as good. I know because I've experienced it. When I worked with Greg, I looked amazing. Like I looked crazy good.
well, the conditioning result can be the same, but as you got bigger and as you wanted to find better ways, it wasn't just because you wanted.
When I got bigger, I wanted to work with coaches who had worked with top level bodybuilders.
It wasn't just because you wanted to be more hardcore. You were like, what is the best way? You were looking for the best way, just like you were looking for the best way in your training. So what I'm saying is,
but if I'd worked with Patrick or Matt Jansen and they had me eating a protein bar in a meal, I wouldn't have.
But they wouldn't. For what reason?
But they didn't. But that's their choice. It's not,
because they don't feel like it's optimal.
They don't feel that way. I'm sure.
That's right.
I would love to hear their reasoning on that.
Yeah.
Well, I gave you my reasoning. I feel like why waste the calories on sources that aren't as beneficial?
Well, I mean,
beneficial for you is that performance was declined and then it wasn't keeping you full for as long, so you were hungry more.
Well,
that's by your standard.
I can't say that to you in fact, Mike, because I never ate protein bars when I was dieting. I did do shakes. But that's because if I drank a shake, I'm getting 50 grams of whey and 0 everything else. So it's like I just like ate a chicken breast or whatever, right? Like I'm getting.
What if you went and ate like one of those Quest?
Look, I'll give you
30 grams of protein, then just like a bunch of sugar alcohols.
I'll give you an example, and this may sound crazy to a lot of people. Me and Sam went grocery shopping, and he was having a tough time eating in the off season, and he grabbed that flavored rice, the Uncle Ben's flavor. It was broccoli cheese or whatever. And he's like, this is what I use for carbs. We all did it. I did it too. And I think it's an easy way to get food in. And in the off season, doesn't matter that much. But because he was having trouble eating, I said to him, have you tried eating just plain rice? Like get a rice cooker and just eat plain rice. And he said, why? And I said, well, the extra calories are probably not useful to you. There's probably 2 grams of fat in there. It's probably slowing you down. If you eat a more natural source, it's probably going to help your digestive system a little bit, and you'll be able to get more food in the off season. So I have I think there's a place where empty calories aren't useful. And I feel like a protein bar has empty calories that could be used in a better way versus drinking a whey shake that is purely protein. And then you can add the carbs from other source.
The only thing that's tough is the word empty calories, because it's like carbohydrates and fats are still like things that are used for energy in your life in the same.
Right, but all carbohydrates are not created equal.
Well,
that's the big argument.
Well, as soon as the rice hits your digestive tract, it turns into glucose, just like all the shit on the protein bar, man.
Sure, it does. But obviously a complex carb is not the same as a simple carb, and it's going to digest differently.
Yeah, but does that mean worse? It digests
no. Nobody said worse. Nobody said worse. But like you said, if it affects performance, hunger, appearance, then it matters.
Totally. But I don't think we should assume that it does at face value before. So for example, if you have someone that's Sam Sulik gets this fucking shit all the time. I remember when he was like eating burritos or some shit like that, or eating fucking cereal with chocolate milk. People go, man, this fucking young kid, fucking idiot. He's gonna die soon. He needs to fucking eat clean. And I'm like, why? And they're like, fucking eat clean, bro. Like, I know you're saying that, but why? And they're like, fucking everyone does it. You're like, no, yes, but reasons. And they just didn't ever have a reason. There are compelling reasons not to have chocolate milk. If he's having chocolate milk and is shitting out blood, it'd be like, bro, stop doing that shit. If he's having chocolate milk and you switch him to rice and pasta and shit, and he just looks better, feels better, everything, that's fucking awesome. Right. But a lot of people can have fucking chocolate milk, and it's fucking amazing performance fuel. Half of D1 athletics is fueled by chocolate fucking milk.
No, listen, but we're talking specifically about a prep right now. We're not necessarily talking about an off season or growth or having the luxury of having as many calories as you want. I have no problem. And if you're in the off season, you want to eat fucking, like he was with me. He was drinking a gallon of milk. I'm like, this is amazing. So I don't think that's an issue. And I even don't think it's an issue in prep if you're talking about calories in, calories out. But I think at the elite level of professional bodybuilding, everything has to be turned to an optimal degree. So I think if 100 calories from a protein,
so we're splitting hairs here.
We're totally splitting hairs. This is like,
and that's what makes this all so difficult. From everything with Sam, that's a whole other conversation. But during a prep, I mean, it's kind of like you have to find out every little detail that works for you. Like, do I like protein shakes? Yeah, I like protein shakes. I don't drink them more than once a day, more than 2 scoops of my own protein powder, just simply because too much protein powder ends up bloating my gut. We have digestive enzymes in the protein powders. We do everything we can. We know the vendor, the source of the protein. Bro, my gut can't. I know people that can drink 3 or 4. They could drink 3 scoops in the shake and nothing happens.
Yeah, yeah.
I eat a protein bar, I'm farting all day long, and my gut is ruined. So I just don't eat those things. But that's what we're all saying here. With the optimization of it, it's kind of like, okay, if your body can handle it and you're processing it well, and you still look pretty fucking good, it's kind of like therein lies the argument. Like, should you do it? And it kind of just boils.
Yeah, but wait.
This is a hard one for me.
This is the same argument. This is the same argument we can make for training. Hey,
Well,
you know what? You know what?
no.
If you like going an inch above your chest and your chest is fucking massive like mine was, whatever.
Well, I mean, I honestly, I believe that though. It's
Yeah,
bodybuilding.
but now we're saying two different things. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Do you understand the issue I'm having between the training discussion and the food discussion? In the food discussion, we're saying there's a lot of wiggle room. In the training discussion, we're saying there's
I'm
no
not
wiggle
saying
room.
there's wiggle room. I'm not saying there's wiggle room at all. I'm saying the argument that it is not optimal to eat protein bars has no theoretical basis I'm aware of. You're saying it's suboptimal. You're saying empty calories. And with all due respect, Fouad, empty calories is not a scientifically cogent term. It never was. And I think Iain kind of alluded to that. It's fucking calories, and it's fucking sugar and fat at the end of the day. Now, if you want to go through a protein bars list of the protein sources and the carbohydrate sources and the fat sources, and you want to say, look, if you had chicken breast and rice and olive oil, you could do better. We'd have to analyze how much of an effect food composition versus just macros and timing and everything else have on the effect of bodies. And the scientific literature says it's such a small effect, it's barely detectable. So then you have to go to the next thing. Already, this is a different conversation from going to a deep stretch in your pecs, because science can detect that at the very least. Okay. So at least do everything optimal as far as science says. Now, if science says, like, look, we just don't have precise enough measurement instruments to detect the difference, or there might be no difference, then to me, it's like, okay, next you take it into the lab, so to speak. You take it in your home, in your gym, whatever, you try it out. To me, eating protein bars seems to have no effect now. I used to shit a lot and fart a lot, to Seth's point, from protein bars, but I got used to it. Like, I can eat fucking 3 Quest bars on a plane right next to someone. I'm like, 8-hour flight. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, you're going to kill us all. And I'm like, nothing happens. It used to be I eat one in fucking, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nowadays I'm used to it. So it's totally cool. So to me, it's like, if there's no real deep theoretical basis for it, the empirical literature says, well, it actually seems to be like, if you account for macros and the food isn't of a terrible quality, like I'm not drinking fucking French fry grease from a McDonald's container. If that all check marks and it's like 1 or 2 meals a day, and it doesn't increase my bloating or anything like that in any measurable way, energy wise, hunger, it doesn't affect me in any negative ways. For me, it's like, well, it's just another food source. And really all the processed sources is just a bunch of real food mixed together in a factory. I don't know what about it changes that makes it bad. There could be.
Can I just want to ask this one question, and I'll get off this topic. Sorry, Iain. I just want to ask this one question. So are you of the mindset, is your position that a calorie is a calorie to some degree, as long as it's not like dog shit source?
No, but I think calories are really important. I think if you eat like 100% clean food, but your calories are too high, you're just not getting lean. I think if you eat mostly dog shit food, but your calories are low, you'll get lean, but you could have gotten bigger and leaner eating higher quality food. Higher quality food, like if I'm getting calories, most of my protein is coming from gluten, like the protein in wheat bread, then yes, inferior protein as measured, that would be a bad deal. But if most of the bar protein is whey, the carbohydrates, just sugars, sugar is very anabolic. It's very good for you. And unless it makes your hunger shit get fucked up, then it's totally fine to consume. There's not a goddamn thing wrong with it.
So in my head, again, not a scientist. I just figure it out along the way. Like when I was young, I'm still doing it now. So when we were going through, like you said at the very beginning of this, obviously the variety of food is very important. Like you don't eat the same thing every single day. When I'm running any type of experiment, for me, like rather than, because we're gearheads, take a lot of shit whenever we're on these, whenever we're doing any prep or training in the off season. Like there's so many other factors that come into play with everything. But I would run an experiment by seeing how something would function with me, of eating it multiple times a day or the whole day. So if we were going to say, like, trying to figure out, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to say something for Fouad, but like if we're like, okay, I'm going to eat chicken, rice, and olive oil Those are my main sources of food, and see how they affect me 6 meals out of the day versus the 6 protein bars from the same amount of all of those things. Which one's going to make you feel better?
Well, see, that's a nuanced question though, because I think it's the answer could be one if it's just 1 or 2 meals a day, and it could be something different if it's 6 over an extended period of time. If you eat chicken, rice, and olive oil 6 meals a day versus having it at 1 or 2 of your 6 meals, the outcome could be very different.
But wait a minute. If it's doing something to you, does that mean it's okay to have one? Because it's still doing something to you, but not enough for you to notice.
What do you mean?
Like if you eat 6 protein bar meals a day, you'd be fucked, right?
Yeah.
Why?
So,
no, wait, hold on. Why? Why would you be fucked?
Well, just do it and see what happens.
I've done it a bunch. It's just totally fine. It's just I get annoyed. I'm like, I want to eat real food, but I look fine. I feel fine.
You've eaten 3,000 calories worth of protein bars.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Several days on end.
I used to work with a guy at Popeyes that would eat protein bars all day, every day, and that's all he ate.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, I you know what? Whether I'm a bro scientist or not, I just can't agree.
Hey, wait, so do you think...
Shut up for a second. I just want to make my position known before we leave this topic.
Wait, you shut up. You shut up.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if I'm the dumbest guy in the world. I will not agree to that 3,000 calories of protein bars is going to be as beneficial for building muscle as 3,000 calories of whole food. Nobody's going to tell me. Nobody can convince me that will happen. I can't tell you what. Mike, I can't tell you why not, because I'm not a scientist. But from trial and error, I can tell you that
no, it's not from trial and error. You've never eaten protein bars all day long, Fouad. Fuck about
No, but I've eaten 2, and I've been fucked.
Yeah, and you just have a fragile fucking gut, so you can't handle it. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, you know what, Mike? Next time you coach a top Olympian, and coach a top 10 guy. I'm not
qualified for that sort of.
Coach a top 10 guy.
I have to place at a show first. I haven't even done that.
Coach a top 10 guy at the Olympia and have him eat just protein bars.
Oh God, poor guy.
Do you think that in any of your shows, if you had eaten like a combination, like eating like 2 or 3 good meals and then had some bars, do you think you would have looked worse?
No, see, this is where I'm consistent. I don't think eating one protein bar a day or 2 protein bars a day will make a huge difference in a 12-week prep. I really don't. But I also don't think going 1 or 2 inches from the fucking depth of this is going to make a difference in my chest growth. So I'm consistent across the board. I'm not like be perfect over here, but not perfect over here. And I'm sorry, Mike, but I don't see that as perfect for whatever reason. And I don't have a scientific reason why. I just don't see it as being perfect.
Well, I don't think he was saying that about the chest unless you are capable of doing it for the range of motion. Am I correct?
He was saying if you started that way, you should do that. And I'm not disagreeing with that. He said it's better for your shoulders. But what I'm saying is I don't think it would make a huge difference over the course of someone's career, because we've seen it a million times.
I think and I'm speaking for Mike, but I think the difference he's saying in that there is, like he said, whether it's a 5 or 10% difference, you might as well do it. And for, health and of the shoulder, whatever, whether speaking the squat or whatever bench, it's irrelevant, that there is only positive potentially benefits, right? Where the protein is saying that there's no negatives, I don't. So it's like saying with the bench, it's like there's only positives. With this, it's saying there's no negatives, and it's the same every other degree.
And I agree with it about the positives, because obviously you said there's scientific studies to prove it. So it's obviously you can't disagree with it. Like I'm like,
the training you're speaking of, or which
the training? Sorry, the training. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, he's 100% right. I learned something new today. When it comes to the diet, like I said, I'm not a scientist, and there hasn't been any studies done on this topic. But I would assume, no, I'm sure there hasn't. I'm sure they haven't taken like a group of people and fed them.
No, but I'm sure
in terms of protein bars.
It's unethical.
No, but he's not saying eat only protein bars. It's just saying having that in your diet, or having some shakes, or having a cereal, or having these things that those, like he's saying, if you would say pick specific ingredients of like whey protein versus this versus a chicken, and say which issue, You know
what I find really interesting about this entire topic? I'm sitting with 3 people, 2 of them who would have never fucking put a protein bar in their prep, even if you begged them, and now they're defending the position. I find this fucking hilarious.
But I'm defending the position because because I wouldn't do something doesn't mean that I understand, because I've done it. When I trained with Greg, I did diets like that, and I looked awesome.
Right. So you stopped for a reason.
Well, no, he didn't stop for a reason. He stopped because his coaches told him this is how we do things, and he trusted them because they're top coaches.
Yeah, I didn't.
But also, he has really good evidence that like he got fucking shredded with Greg. Like that's compelling,
because there's no doubt.
I didn't switch. You're going under the premise that I switched coaches because I didn't want to eat that specific style of food.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
I switched coaches because all I wanted to do was work with a coach that was working with top level pro bodybuilders, and like Mike said, they gave me a diet. I followed the diet, and as I got into my career, I took a lot of pride in my ability to eat very well all year round. So it's not anything other than, not that I thought I was being.
Why is not eating a protein bar
potentially.
eating very well though? Why is that not eating very well? Why didn't you do it in the
clean. It's a cultural
No,
thing,
I'm just
right?
curious.
Like you want to eat clean.
curious.
No,
It's very
literally
well.
it's from a perspective of me thinking, like, taking pride in that it was hard to do for a lot of people, so I took pride in it. That was the only reason. And not saying because I thought it was better or because I thought it was
when
worse.
it comes
I've
to
done it the other way and knew I had looked just as good.
So when it comes to looking just as good, no one said, I've never once claimed during this whole discussion that calories in, calories out does not work for getting shredded, or if it fits your macros to a certain degree, does not work for getting shredded. Sure,
but you're saying
shredded.
that it's slightly suboptimal in the regards to that the training is slightly suboptimal. So then why wouldn't you just do the more optimal? But it's like, if you can get looking just as good, how are you saying that it's suboptimal?
Because you're looking just as good conditioning wise, but maybe you're not looking good just as, maybe your muscle isn't as good.
But you're pretending that into existence, Fouad.
I am pretending. You're right. I am. I don't. I
already
explained. I already said I'm not a fucking scientist. What do you guys want?
But in that same breath, you'll say,
become a scientist, Fouad. Become a scientist now. That's what we're saying.
I gotta go run a fucking study. What the fuck?
But you'll say in that same breath that whey protein is a very good, one of the best, if not the best.
That's why I said.
When you're talking about loss of muscle, that would be more contingent on your source of protein.
No, but I already said shakes are different than bars. I already claimed that. I didn't say whey is bad.
What's different if it's whey protein in a bar?
Because there's more in a bar than just whey. It's not zeros across the board. Whereas if I drink an isolate,
you're talking about muscle loss or gain, and we're talking about protein intake. The whey.
We're not talking about just protein intake. We're talking about calorie intake, and we're talking about whether all calories are equal, including the carb sources you get in.
Sure.
And I don't think they all are equal. Not when you're talking about slivers of differences in a prep. Like, those minor things to me matter.
But matter in terms of changing what? You're like, which part is going to change? Because we've already established that
I already said them. I already said performance, hunger, appearance. Those are the three things you care about. I already said that.
I think that it's the aspect of bodybuilding, because you're trying to look a specific way. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to optimize the look. At least that's how I look at it. Like, if I'm trying to optimize my look, I am going to go through every single little thing that I eat to find out how to become that much better in the way I look.
Right.
But this is the most. I mean, we're like I said, we're splitting fucking hairs here.
Of course we are. That's what we do on the podcast. I just like to argue.
I love this because we're actually able to have a conversation and not hate each other. It's because we're all like, I mean, I'm not eating a protein bar. I'm cutting out shakes probably. Dude, I'm probably not drinking shakes 6 to 8 weeks out from a show. I just won't. I just don't want to even deal with the bloated gut.
That's more hardcore than I would be, but
but in that same thing, that's why I was saying, like, the 6 different meals, like, for me, like, being a meathead, let's just assume, like, the whole meathead aspect. It's like, that's why I would do an experiment, be like, obviously, so what do I look like if I eat chicken and rice and olive oil with every meal? What's it going to do to me if I eat this? And I understand that the variety of food plays an important role, and there's a certain amount that your body can handle for everything, all that. But that's the type of experiment that I would run to see how something would respond, or I would respond to it, or to try and optimize a type of food. And is that, sound thing to do? Nope. Scientists are going to have you eat 6 fucking protein bars a day. Also, with all this also being said, there's other factors that come into play. There's no studies on what 1,000 mg of test is going to do to you. There's no study on 100 mg of Trenbolone every single day with 1,000 mg of test, and then sprinkle in some fucking Anavar, some Winstrol, and also maybe let's start taking 100 mg of Master on a day too. Like, all those things are going to play a role in how our body responds to these things. So, I mean, I'm not eating any protein bars, but I can understand where you guys are coming from with it, because I know people that can do those things and stay in really good shape. I know that whenever I was doing all of my functional work last year, I was still probably eating, a couple handfuls of pretzels every single day and staying shredded. My calories were super low because I was only eating 3 meals a day, but that's also probably why, because I wasn't trying to get bigger. I wasn't trying to achieve a certain look. I was just living life, being a fucking crazy guy.
So I'll just say this, and then I'll give Mike the last word. Again, I just want to reiterate this. I in no way mean this. This whole topic is centered around elite level bodybuilding preps, not just getting shredded. If we're talking about just getting shredded, I'm in 100% agreement that there is a level of, if it fits your macros, that works to a certain degree.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
right. So I'm not disputing that in any shape. I'm specifically talking about a prep. I'm talking about appearance. I'm talking about digestion. I'm talking about overall hunger. Those are the three areas that I'm looking at in prep. So
You're hungry
Mike,
no matter what.
Mike, I'll give you the last word and then we'll move on from the topic so we don't beat a dead horse.
Totally. Poor fucking horse. I think for many people, eating all kinds of foods just doesn't play well with them. And sometimes that is protein bars, and you can't overdo it. And I think it's important for folks to try to run multiple weeks on end of only whole foods, multiple weeks on end of like YOLO, IFYM, like lots of weird bullshit. You know, you can get protein, anything, protein, cookies, crackers, blah, blah. The Greg Doucette prep that Iain was talking about.
Yeah.
Multiple weeks at a time during prep or during a fat loss phase, and really tracking the shit you were talking about, Fouad, how it makes your energy feel, hunger, bloat, kind of like, are the striations looking the same? And if you can find something compelling and convincing, like, yeah, this is definitely affecting me, then make those changes. And like a lot, you know, Seth was talking about, like for him, it just fucking makes a big difference. You eat a protein bar that destroys your gut, dude, fuck that. Fuck, throw a goddamn thing away. Like, nah, I'm trying to look good and prep, and I'm trying to fucking train instead of having fucking gut issues. But if you experiment and you see there's no compelling reason, like if you were blinded to your own food, like I wouldn't be able to tell you. Some of my best appearance lately was when I was traveling for work in Australia, and I was eating like sushi and protein bars and shakes and fuck all, and I had like cross striations in my upper quads, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Turns out I wasn't drinking as much water as usual, and it was really hot outside, and I was just dry shit. I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, right?
Dehydrated all day long.
Right, there you go. That's how you look your best. But if you experiment and it shows you something, absolutely that's the case. But if you can eat protein bars at least up to 2 or 3 weeks out of prep, and it fits into your schedule really well, it's convenient for you. Like we're talking about as if we're all, you know, you guys are all pros, but like there's a professional bodybuilder in name and there's a professional bodybuilder in lifestyle. And there's plenty of people that are pro bodybuilders in lifestyle that don't have a pro card, but they live the shit 24/7. But some of them, they're delivery drivers, they got real jobs, and you're telling them you got to bring chicken and rice every fucking day to your work. Maybe a couple protein bars would do them just the fucking same. And those guys, I'm saying, should try it. Bring some protein bars. If you start looking like shit, fuck that. I guess it's back to chicken and rice and you microwaving and your coworkers getting pissed at your smelly food. But if you try it and it fucking works, oh my God, you just saved yourself so much fucking hassle. People say, man, fucking bars don't work, but they do for you, you know? And really a lot of this is like, I actually made a video recently on the RP channel that'll come out in a bit, but kind of sort of like defending Sam. So look, and the thumbnail is going to be me like photoshopped over his cock and, you know, the whole thing like, Sam, please love me, heart emojis and everything. But it's basically like, it's kind of a retort to the guys that are like, man, you know, Sam's fucking eating all this shit, man. You know, it's going to make a huge difference when he eats clean. And it's like, dude, we've all known enough big and strong people to know it's not going to make a big fucking difference. To him, it might. If all these foods are affecting him poorly, he just doesn't know. Because, you know, when you're young, like I used to eat McDonald's all the time when I was young and I thought it was fine. And then I remember precisely at age 20, I had McDonald's with friends after some drinking, underage drinking, I might add, and it just felt wrong. I was like, dude, I don't feel good. I feel tired. I stopped eating fast food for a while and I just felt better. And I was like, dude, fuck that. And since then, it's been like a once every few months kind of thing, if that. If you're feeling real bad eating that shit, stop eating that shit. If you look and feel normal, everything's great, I would still give clean eating a try because you could look better. 100%. Yeah.
Mike said I could have fast food every day if it makes me feel
and you should have from McDonald's for every day.
You look great.
Mike, I love having you on the show. I love a good because ultimately I think someone's going to learn something from this, whether it's from my bro science or maybe lack of science. But you know, I just want to say this really quickly. It's hard to point to science for some things because it's like they haven't done the studies on somebody like us. So it's like we have to point to bro science, or we have to point to like what are coaches doing, what are the top guys doing, and then we have to kind of emulate that because we don't have the science to point to.
Well, I think
100%.
that's what also makes bodybuilding and us so wonderful is because we're crazy enough to try these fucking things.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're crazy enough to also speak on it and use our anecdotal experiences. And that's what's cool about us all getting together and being like, hey, what'd you do? What'd you do to do this?
Yeah.
Seth,
Give me
you
some
sound
tips.
way too embracing of diversity and happiness and shit. Motherfucker, you need to up your trendos. What the hell is wrong with you saying some nice guy shit like
I was
that?
told not allowed to do that yet.
I'm in enough gear right now that I'm like just have mean vibes only, and then Seth is all here nice and accepting of the world.
Are
And I'm
you
like,
really,
God damn
Mike?
it, I want to feel like you, Seth. I desperately want to feel like that.
Mike, what are you running like as a are you prepping for something? Are you in
I'm
off
prepping.
season?
Yeah, I'm prepping now. Yeah.
The jawline.
I don't want to ask what you're running then.
You can ask what I'm running. It's totally fine.
What are you running?
I'm running 500 test and 500 primo.
That's it.
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
That's not
I don't tolerate.
That's not
You're like,
optimal
you're
either.
never going to turn pro at this rate. But I don't
Triple
tolerate
that at
gear.
least. Come on.
You're at least triple fat, you fucking idiot.
Add in some
I can't-
Anadrol. What the fuck?
Dude, I can't do a lot of gear because it drives me actually insane. Like my anxiety will be so high that I'll just have cortisol shooting out of my ass. I can't do my job. I can't do shit. I'm a miserable cunt.
I probably did too, but we just didn't even realize.
Didn't really, yeah, oh yeah,
Like,
sure.
shit, we were really fucked up on all that gear, you know?
You know what's funny,
Like, I
Mike?
was an asshole to
No
everyone. Oops.
self-awareness at all at the time, though, you know?
You know what's funny, Mike? I'm like this whole time, my entire life, I'm like, I have anxiety. I'm like really just on way too much fucking gear.
Way too much fucking
100%.
Yeah. Because now
You
I
come
have
down,
no
and you're like, the
anxiety.
world is beautiful.
Yeah.
Dude, no joke. When I come down between preps or off seasons or whatever, and I'm on like anywhere between 200 and 500 megs of just test, dude, I can feel emotions again.
Yeah.
I want to like hug random people in the street. I'm like, what the I'm like, Seth, look at Seth's face, everybody. That's what you want to live your life like. Don't look at my face. I'm ugly and I'm mean and full of hate. And for me, a gram does that for sure. Now, closer to the contest, I'll ramp it up to close, just shy of 2 grams total. That's including orals and shit like that. But you know, these are baby doses by modern standards. I will say though, daily spread over the day 10 IUs of high grade pharmaceutical growth never hurt anyone.
Nice.
Never.
So
God
what?
damn.
So Mike, are you of the kind of new age school of like a shot every day, like micro dosing, or are you like the old school, like 2-3 times a week
Of
whatever you're like, whatever injectable
gear,
you're taking?
I'm preloaded insulin pins every morning.
Really?
I can tell on my psychology the effect for sure.
So-
like a more stable dose for me keeps me less insane. I'm super sensitive though. Most people can't tell.
Can I ask you?
This is great. Hold on. Just
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know about this new age bullshit with the sauce until recently.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a fucking hack, bro.
Yeah. I've been on this. This is the
Seth,
best.
can I tell you something though? Because this is I just want to ask you this, Mike, because and Ian, you used to do this too.
I started doing that a long time ago.
So can I tell you guys, Seth, I tried it for a little while last year. I did it I think I only did it for like 2 months.
But the
Microdosing. I was doing a shot every day.
Every compound that I did, I just shot in little amounts every single day, and it just
So
like
I was so
it made me feel better. My levels were better. Like I just felt way
one sec.
better.
I just want to ask one question to these guys. So I did that. The reason I stopped is I noticed, like using the insulin needle, I was getting like pockets of fucking oil. Like it didn't feel like it was dissipating.
What length insulin pin? Where were you shooting? Were you shooting in the skin or like how were you shooting it?
I was shooting. I started in the skin, like subcutaneous.
Okay.
That's the pockets of oil right there. That's
I
why.
don't
No,
do that.
no, I know that, right? Because they started to bother me. So then I switched it to like my delts.
Yeah,
And
I
I was
get
like-
I get the 12.7s and shoot the longer the half inch ones.
That's what I had.
Yeah, and I find they have no problem with that.
Maybe I'm too fat.
Yeah, or
Dude,
maybe how much
when
gear
I
were you
shot
shooting?
with fucking regular pins, like, 22s, dude, I've shot with one of my buddies. I was visiting where he was living and I'm like, I need a fucking pin. And he's like, great. And I shot with a 19 that I pulled with
It's
same
like a pipe.
needle. I'm
It's
like,
like a
oh my
pipe.
fucking God, dude. I pressed him out on my quad and it was like 2 inches until it went, and I could like hear it and feel it. I was like, yeah,
You're
when I used to shoot with
going
regular
into
needles,
the needle.
dude, it's terrible. I would get inflamed all the fucking time. Ever since I switched to slim pins, dude, I don't even feel it. I can't even tell you where I shot last. I can't tell.
That's going to be my question here. I just learned about all this, so give me some education behind it. I understand the concept of your levels and all these things, but like, what size? What is the size? Are you guys doing 1/2 inch or 1
Yeah,
inch?
12.7 to a 1/2 inch slim pin. I mean, you could probably even do an 8 millimeter. I'm sure it wouldn't matter that much if you're doing.
Oh, I
it
do the tiny ones. Like I don't have a lot of fat on my quads. I just shoot my
Oh,
upper
I do,
quad and
yeah.
it just goes right in.
Now that I'm only doing a TRT, or when I was like, I would do the 8 millimeters in the side of my quad where it's very lean.
Yeah.
Like when I was competing, and if I was do more, I would do the 1 mil 12.7 slim pins. You backload them super quick and easy, and just
That's
go
awesome.
for it.
Mike, you're not
Really?
noticing. You're not noticing any like oil under the skin, nothing like that?
Never had
Dude,
any.
the opposite. I used to get that shit when I shot with fucking big boy needles.
Fuck, I
I'd get
wonder
fucking,
why.
I'd get welts, I'd get fucking inflammation, and oh my god, I've been to the hospital for that shit. They cut it out of me once, and they're like, well, it's
So-
not technically infected, but this is a lot of fucking accumulated weirdness, and now it just
funny
doesn't
because
happen.
It's funny that I ended up being this way with that. Like I started doing that the last few years I competed, because I was so the complete opposite at the beginning of my bodybuilding career, where I thought you had to use the absolute longest needle possible. So I was like 1.5 inches minimum.
Oh,
That's what I was
use
doing.
1.5 inches in my delt and my quads and my glutes. I never used an inch. If I saw someone using an inch, I'm like, bro, that's not deep enough. You need 1.5 inches.
That's what I,
And now I'm like, what the fuck difference does that make? Why was I doing that? You know?
So here I'm
For
also
10 years.
has the quality of what, depending on the oil or the how much alcohol or the actual powder itself, like whether it's dissolved, how
The compound, yeah.
what are you trying
the
to say?
compound itself.
Make it hurt less or more, or what?
Yes, making it hurt less. So say you have something that welts you up a little bit,
Yeah.
or you have something that is too concentrated, or
Well,
like Sustanon never worked for me.
You're going to find that though, when you're doing smaller doses every single day, you're going to be mitigating it a lot, because a lot of it is like, if you're shooting 2 cc's of fucking sus 250 versus shooting 0.3 every day, like there's a big difference, you know?
your body
That's
like
what I'm
sees that
asking.
much foreign substance and attacks it with your immune system. It's
Well,
like,
yeah,
what the
that's what I'm
fuck is
saying.
that?
So with everything that you guys haven't experienced those things with these lower doses of everything.
Not nearly as much.
So I have a question. So Paul started doing this recently too. Like, I don't know, I think a couple months ago or a month ago, he was trying it for a little while. And he told me the same thing. He said he was getting like, he could see like the oil under his skin and shit. I'm like, I wonder why I'm not getting the same. Because the crazy part is I felt better, and I felt like I was on more gear than I actually was doing a microdose. But then I'm like, I couldn't handle the pockets of oil or the blurriness under the skin I could see. So I'm like, I don't know how to fucking solve
Doing it
this
like
situation.
daily, or were you doing just slim pins with like a full CC?
No. I was doing daily, like just tiny amounts. Like, I don't know why I was.
Massage that shit in or something. I don't know.
I'm
You
curious.
did this for a prep, Ian?
Pardon?
You did this for a prep?
I've done it for at least 2 preps, maybe 3.
Oh shit!
I'm
You didn't let
curious.
scar tissue build up or anything like that?
It's
I
the
mean,
opposite, bro.
Quite the
It's the
contrary.
opposite. Less.
If you're shooting a 23 gauge 1.5 inches, like I was doing compared to a,
Yeah.
that's a lot
Well, I
less
mean,
trauma for
If
sure.
if you're using like a 25 gauge, obviously it's better than a 23 and less scar tissue. But you're using what, a 27?
28, 30.
31. Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine are 30. Yeah.
I think it's easier to measure with a slim pin as well, because the dose is so small.
Yeah. And so you can just fucking backload them, pop off the back, take a normal syringe, squirt it in the back, fucking go.
I'm curious to see what happens with you, Seth. I want to know if you noticed anything what I know, because I want to try it again. Because like I said, and I don't know if Ian and Mike, you guys noticed this, but like I said, I almost felt like I was doing more than I was.
I mean, I could keep my estradiol levels in like a significantly better spot by doing
For sure.
versus doing like once
For
a week.
sure.
twice a week.
Mike, do you feel that way or no?
I feel like I get fewer side effects of the gear. Like I'm less anxious. There's less up and down. Because like for me, like if I used to shoot twice a week. By the end of the shoot cycle, before the next day, I was feeling a little bit more like Seth, like open to the world, bright eyes. And then fucking the day after I shot, I'm just like fucking grimacing at everyone. I'm like, fuck this. I hate this shit. This way, after the first, the first 2 weeks of a cycle suck because your levels are coming up. For me, it's awful. It's like I'm up on a roller coaster. I'm like, if you guys ever take mushrooms, like the first 30 minutes of mushrooms, you're like, oh my fucking God, here we go. Freaking out. But then it stabilizes and you're having a great time. And the same way for gear, it takes like 2 weeks for me. Once that 2 week period is
I
over.
need to eat more.
Ian, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Mike, Seth, have you ever done mushrooms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's Saturday night.
Yo, mushrooms are legal, recreationally legal in the state of Michigan, I believe. So I'll see you fellas here in a little bit.
Okay. So let's just transition here, because this is perfect. So next week is Detroit Pro. Seth is coming down. He sponsored the show. He is the platinum sponsor, I believe, or something like that. The top sponsor. Mike is coming. He's sponsored the show in his appearance at the meet and greet on Sunday. Ian is coming because he sponsored the show because he's my friend.
We're all sponsors now.
Mike Van Wyck's going to be there. Hunter's going to be there. Sam Sulik's going to be there. Samson Dowd is going to be there. We're all going to be, but the thing is, we're all training on Saturday at Mr. Mike Israetel's private gym. and we're going to be shooting probably three or four different videos worth of content.
Got to get the sauce cranking in the next 2 weeks. Here.
I was going to start taking Anadrol today.
100 mgs of Anadrol a day.
Come up. You're like 280 by the time I see him. Like, holy shit, dude! Like, I don't feel so good.
Every 2 hours, dude.
Yeah. No, but that night I didn't realize Mike was such a mushroom fan. So we should probably.
We're hero dosing the shit out of this. Let's go.
I'm going to get some of the chocolate ones that we got.
The gummy ones.
No, the chocolate ones were stronger.
Gummies are better.
No way, it's not even close, dude.
Then the Coke gummy ones.
Dude, I couldn't read the bill. Like,
hell yeah,
the Coke gummy ones are the shitty ones compared to the chocolate ones.
The Wonka ones are the best ones.
The chocolate, dude. I'm telling you,
really?
the chocolate. Yeah, did you take
guys
any?
Got some good shit in Canada. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, we got
Wonka, Mike chocolate.
Mike, I couldn't see the receipt. The bill came for our dinner. And I had to call over a friend to pay the bill for me. I'm like, I can't read the numbers on the fucking.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah, I've been there, my friend.
You've been drinking quite heavily on top of that.
Okay, it was both. It was probably both.
Shit, dude, you guys that's fucking animal shit right there.
It was great. So Seth, are you in for some mushrooms on Saturday night?
Oh yeah, if you guys are, I'm fucking. Let's do it.
Okay, but we have to start early and go to, because I have to go to bed early because we have an early start Sunday morning.
It's kind of a big day on Sunday, yeah.
Easy. As soon as the training session is about to start, we all fucking 8 grams of mushrooms to the face.
Oh,
you can imagine, dude. Hey guys, real quick, I went to the gym once high on mushrooms just to see what.
I was just gonna ask you about what's that like.
It was a fucking weird, man, because I mean, so first of all, there's so many lights in the gym, and I'm like, oh my god, these lights, like, you don't see lights the same way on mushrooms. They're like fucking arc out at you, and I was like, fuck. And then there was like a dude lifting, and he had like long hair, but it was kind of from far away, and I was like, is that a guy or a girl? And I was like, super weird about it. And then I like walked up, and like there was like the 30s in the dumbbell rack, and I like tried to curl them, and I'm like, oh, they're so heavy, holy shit. And I thought like people were kind of judging me, but like they thought I was judging them, and I was like, oh man, the gym isn't right on mushrooms. Like it just was not my spirit place.
What if it's all of us though together? Then it won't be a big deal.
Yeah, or it will be a really big deal. Look,
or will
when Samson loses his mind and starts throwing plates around the gym, who's going to put him down on mushrooms? Nobody.
Samson doesn't do mushrooms. Samson won't do mushrooms.
There you go. We're safe.
I don't think Sam will either. So we'll have like
Mike. Yeah.
We'll have various videos. It'll be like the non-mushroom training group. Than the mushroom training group.
It'll be like a switch from one to the other, and we're like, oh,
that's right.
So heavy.
The mushroom training group. The camera pans over, and it's just us like sitting on the floor talking about life. Like, you guys are training. We're like, what the fuck is training? Like, never mind. Good.
All right. So quickly before we move on, I'm going to ask each of you, and I'm sure the answer is like anybody, but try and be specific. Seth, I'll start with you. Who are you looking forward to training with on Saturday if you could pick a partner or 2 partners? Because I'm probably not going to train with anybody specifically, so you can leave me out of the conversation. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Iain. I mean, he's always been known for being a little crazy and really intense. So, I mean, honestly, I was looking forward to training with Iain.
Okay. What if you had a second partner? You had to add like you, Iain, and who else?
It's going to be I mean, I don't want to train with Samson at all. He's really tall, he's dark, and
Samson
he's really
doesn't train.
Big.
I honestly think you and Samson would be a good training session because I think you have similar training styles. Like,
oh yeah,
you train heavy, but not crazy heavy, and you are higher volume guys.
Oh,
so I think you guys might actually have a good training session together. But regardless, anyway, so other than Samson, if we left Samson out.
I mean, I definitely want to throw down with Mike just because he can critique my training, and
I can do that without training with you. I'll just do it from the side of the gym. Like, you suck. You're
deeper. I mean, I'm excited to meet Sam.
Yeah.
Just because I want to fucking meet the kid just to see like what he's like. And
touch the hand of God.
He's a good
guy. The exact fucking same as his videos.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah, he's a good
awesome.
kid. Yeah,
literally the exact same. Yeah,
look, people are gonna be like, oh, it's because he's a hostile. It has nothing to do with hostile. The kid's just a good kid. Like he just wants to he keeps to himself. He's like, I just want to fucking train. I just want to.
I heard a couple things about him, about what other companies, maybe some clothing brands have offered him, and he has just said, Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, he doesn't give a
I'm
shit.
like,
He told me.
I really want to know if this is a real story because the story that I heard, I was like, man, if this is true, this kid's
Seth.
fucking awesome.
Seth,
Funny as fuck.
I'm telling you, it's fucking real.
It's
He's
funny
like,
as fuck.
it's
He's
fucking
just like,
legit.
I'm
Yeah.
good. Dude. Fuck off. I don't,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm okay.
yeah. So okay, I actually think you and Seth would be a really good session too, but I kind of feel like Iain and Seth have more of the same principles. Iain, who if you could choose out of all the people, who you want to train with? You don't really care, do you?
I like to train with everybody. You
Yeah.
know what? Actually, I'm going to say him because I'm not going to pick anyone here. I'm going to pick Paul again because me and Paul were training in the UK.
Paul's a good training partner.
We had some 6 sessions with Paul, so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to training with Paul again.
You can't train with Paul. I'm training with Paul.
No, because he was like, when I was training with him, he's like, oh, I'm learning so much. Like, I wish I knew all this.
Such a fucking liar. You're such
You're so much better of a training partner than Fouad. You pushed me so much harder. I learned so much more.
I know.
He was so grateful. He was just so grateful about how good I was. So I'm looking
like, I can't believe I'm training with Iain. This is so amazing. Yeah.
Like,
you know what? You don't realize.
He's like, is it real that you came second at the Arnold and Fouad only came 6th?
So he'll do that with you. And then if he's been around you for a little while, then when he trains with someone else, he'll do that to the next person.
Okay. I just don't pay attention. I just pretend it's only me.
Okay. So me, Paul, and Iain are training, or me and Paul are training together, and somebody else. So you guys can, the two old guys got to stick together.
No,
Okay.
you
Mike, who are you going to train with?
I mean, the real answer is like I just want to bask in all that shit, all that fucking man stink in the gym. I mean, glory or whatever. No, but it's gonna be awesome. I'm curious to be in the presence of Samson because very astute people that I highly respect said that there is a difference between the pictures and real life, and they said it in real life it just doesn't make any sense.
No.
There's the big people, there's really jacked people, there's the best in the world, and then there's Samson, and you're like, what the fuck is that? I want to see it, man. Dude, like when I was 19 and I came to the Arnold for the first time and I saw my first pro strongman, I was like, I just didn't make any sense. I was like, how? Yeah. So I always love seeing shit like that. Like, what am I like? I'm 5'6", 235, pretty lean at this point. Like I'm jacked by normal standards. I want to see something that makes me look like a child. Like that would be some shit.
That's why I don't want to train with him.
Samson's
that's why I saw him in the Pittsburgh last year. He was there and he's like, oh, hey.
Yeah, I'm too freshly retired. My ego's too fragile for that.
You know what's crazy about it, guys? Guys like Samson, like Regan, like these guys that are really aesthetic, it doesn't translate in video and photo. I think because their bodies are so well put together, they don't have any like freak body parts. Like Regan, when you see Regan in real life, you're like, what the fuck? He's just like big, tall, wide, like massive fucking guy.
Same with Andrew, like,
Andrew's like that too. Like you don't.
When I saw Andrew backstage at the first Olympia I did with him, I was like, my sweet fucking Jesus, what is that?
I think the aesthetic guys, it just doesn't translate the same in video and photo.
Well, especially with taller guys, because you don't get as much like what's the word? Like aspect, like what's the word?
Aspect ratio,
like context, to it until you're like near them, and then you're like, holy shit, they're a lot bigger. When it's a video or picture, like unless there's someone that's 5'2" staying next to them, so you can be like, holy cow. But even then, you don't really realize until you're there and compare it to yourself, Well,
that's the crazy thing. Are people are like, Samson needs to work on his arms, and you see his arms in real life are like 24 fucking inches.
Gigantic.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? But you can't. This is the kind of thing you can't see.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to be impressed, Mike.
I can't wait. Yeah. I mean, Jared is going to be there, and I he's my pick by a long mile because he's the best training partner I've ever had. But so him and I will very likely be training together. But if someone, we could always use a third, as my wife and I say to random strangers in the street. Yeah, it would be dope. We'd ideally for content, if we're doing a high volume hypertrophy leg day. If Sam considers himself brave, he can jump in with us. But
all right, well, the challenge is thrown down for Sam. I guess
has been issued.
The other person I want to see, I haven't seen. Hunter looks like a fucking freak,
bro.
Right
Hunter is right now. I told Fouad when I saw him at the Arnold, I'm like, I'm coming out of retirement. This is the one I saw where I'm like, it just like pissed me off to see,
Yeah,
Like it
he
made me
looks
mad. I literally told him
freakishly
right
big.
after. He knew before I even said it. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that got you.
I
AC.
was so happy. I'm like, Ian's just pissed off right now. I was
He
like,
saw when I saw Hunter, I'm like, fuck this fucking bullshit. I fucking don't want to be here, you know? Like,
Dude, Dean saw him a few weeks ago. It was right after the Arnold down in Texas, and he sent me a picture of him next to
fucking
me.
huge
He's
right
like,
now, man.
you don't understand how big this man is.
He's like
Dude,
290
funny?
and he's
That's-
like in good shape, like thin, dry skin at like 5'9", 5'8".
Dude, he posts pictures. He's like off season. I'm like, fuck you. You have glute striations. What the
Dude,
fuck is going on?
Crazy good. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I mean, Hunter has, I guess, nice shape, but not as obviously as much as Samson or Regan or some of these guys. But he's another one. You can't tell how fucking big he is until you see him, and you're like,
right now, they
Another
said,
thing in pictures that really throws things off is the ratio of the size of the head to the body. If you have a bigger head, you don't really look
Yeah.
big in photos.
Yeah, that
I don't know
makes
if you
sense.
guys know from powerlifting, Chad Wesley Smith, one of the all-time greats in total. He's like 6'2", in his prime, 350 pounds.
Yeah.
But his head is so big that people in photos are like, yeah, Chad's big. And you see him in real life, you're like, oh my fucking God, what the fuck? And so sometimes guys have little ass heads and shit. And so like in the Instagram profiles, they look fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Take third at their show. Like, who beat that guy? You see him next to people are like, oh my God, he's not that big. He just had a fucking tiny head. And no offense, but like a bunch of the Asian folks, the Koreans and shit, they use the head shrink app and they shrink their fucking heads
No
in the
way.
photos, bro. No joke. No, Koreans, I love you. Namaste. But like, y'all motherfuckers do that
How
shit.
do you
and
know
it's a
this?
real
How do you-
because you see Olympia photos of these motherfuckers and then you see their own Instagram shit. It's a thing. It's also, I know Koreans personally.
Why do Koreans want small heads?
it's okay. I know them personally.
We're
Don't
gonna
worry.
start doing this. This is genius.
Yeah,
Why,
I don't
wait,
know.
why do Koreans want small heads? Is it just to look bigger in the photo?
Yeah.
I think so. I haven't investigated that, but
If there's any Koreans watching this and they know why, please tell us in the
Yeah,
comments.
explain
comment below.
yourselves, Koreans.
Explain yourselves.
Explain yourselves.
All right. So, okay, talking about the Detroit Pro, we have an iffy lineup because we have Justin Rodriguez is definitely in. Good Vito is definitely in.
Yeah.
And Martin Fitzwater is definitely in. Rob Gordon is definitely in. And then there's a few. Ron Gordon, I'm sorry. And there's a few others. I'm not
Good
sure.
Vito's coming?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know he's Russian, right? Originally.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, if you need me to translate, if his English isn't so great, I think his English is okay, but like I can talk Russian.
No,
if you
I think
want.
I could use a. I think I could use
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. His trainer's coming with him. I don't know if his trainer speaks good
No.
English or not.
Then I'll probably be useless. My Russian's awful, but I can communicate some shit.
Yeah. And then there may be, and I'm not saying this, so no, please nobody take it and start rumors, but I'm hoping potentially Rafa and Tonio will come. They both are, just so there's no rumors, they are both are a no currently. So I'm not saying they're coming.
Is De La Rosa doing it?
De La Rosa's not doing it. De La Rosa was thinking about it, but then him and Patrick decided that he could try and put on a little bit more size and come in a little bit better if they did something later in the year, like Tampa.
Who's
I
Tonio?
Tonio Burton.
Oh man,
Right.
that guy's shape genetics is like I was just born in the wrong body. Fuck.
I know. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys this. Vito just put this photo up. I know Ian is not a believer. I'm a huge fan. Like I hope he lives up to the hype.
Okay, so how tall is
First
he?
pro show too, right? First pro.
How tall is he?
I think he's like 5'7" or 5'8".
I think
Look
he's
at the
like my
size of
height.
that
I'm
head.
I
5'6".
think he's like
Size of the
5'4", Fouad.
Oh god, here we go.
Ian's gonna fucking shit all over him for some reason.
How tall is he? You said, is that the debate?
I think he's like 5'6", 5'7".
he's our height.
Let's just agree on 5'7".
Let's agree with 5'6".
I'm on Ian's side. When the guys say they're 5'7", they're almost always 5'5", and I say I'm 5'4", so you can figure out what I really
Yeah,
am.
I think he's more in the 5'5" to 5'6" range, not the 5'7" to 5'8" range.
Okay,
Wait, I thought he was taller.
who fucking cares? Anyway, this
Wait, he
photo,
works with Chris Aceto?
I guess.
Weird, I didn't know
This
that.
is his other coach, I believe. This is the guy.
But then why? Well, he's working with two coaches? Like who?
Yeah, I think maybe this
Training
guy's his
coach, diet coach?
trainer.
Like,
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Let's see what he's saying here. Translation. Trust my gratitude those who support me. Only 3 days left till the Arnold.
let's go, Brat.
So, we forgot I forgot the Arnold Brazil is first, but just let's do Detroit since we're talking about it, and then we'll go back to the Brazil. So, let's just go with those three: Martin, Justin, and Vito. Who do we think?
Martin.
How's that gonna shake out?
Who do you think?
My safe bet is Martin.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's Who I
Has Martin
should
put up anything? I love Martin. I'm a huge fan. I'm not positive where his level of conditioning is at the moment.
So I'm going to show you the most
What
recent.
do we got? Like 10 days to your show?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the most recent photo with Brett.
Okay, he's in shape then.
It's so hard to tell from gym photos, though, isn't it?
This is another
Dude,
photo. This
Martin-
one,
There's
this-
back date 12 days out. Does he? I just want to see what his fucking butt cheeks look like. Okay, just show me his ass, and
The
then
only relevant conditioning landmark is glutes, and no one's going to tell me different.
it's the only one that matters.
this is a while back. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, these are the only two recent
Says
Does he
ones.
pose in that
Video.
back day video there? The
Yeah,
first
let
one.
me- yeah, he does.
Uh-oh, no glutes, blot it out.
That's just
No,
a fucking.
But you
that's
can
just
see
a-
you can see in the thumbnail here. There's some glute striations in there.
Yeah, they
Oh,
look.
there you go.
lean.
Yeah, good call. Yeah,
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be ready, man. And
Martin's
his
gonna be
skin,
in shape.
That's 12 days out. He's got time. He's good.
Martin's going to be in shape.
the skin looks thin. I think he's going to be ready. I think he's going to be good.
Martin's a freak. He is. I think he's gonna show up and he's gonna be a force.
But-
I gotta say something real quick. Fouad,
What?
please forgive me. You guys remember the movie Face Off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fouad,
Or
can you
Nicolas Cage?
Google that shit really quick? The
that's,
actors list of Face Off.
John Travolta. And,
John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
Right.
But there was the one dude who was like the assistant mobster, and he gets like shot in the neck in one of the scenes. What actor is that? Because you pull up IMDb, he's got to be up there.
This is Face Off, IMDb. Wait, where's the actors? Cast and crew.
So it's gonna be a bald dude, and
Nick Cassavetes.
yeah. Okay, so in that movie, dude, I swear to God, bro, face wise, tell me that's not Martin.
It's not Martin.
That's his fucking dad right there. Get another picture. You got to get another
It's
picture
his dad.
in that movie, bro.
This
I
is not the
swear
new
to
picture
God,
though. Find one from the
I
movie.
swear to
Okay,
God,
wait. We'll
find one
just
from
do,
the movie.
we'll just do
Type
this
in
here.
Nick Cassavetes face.
I know. Relax. Fuck, man. You're so aggressive, Ian.
Hurry the fuck up.
Aren't you natural right now? Why are you
He's
so
back
aggressive?
on. Ian's back on, everybody.
I can
I'm on
tell.
a whole-
Holy
I'm on a
shit.
whole, like 60, 70, 75 milligrams
This
of
is-
test.
I don't know. I don't see Martin.
Okay, but he didn't look like that. Okay, nothing. A little bit. Anyone? Am
I
I just
don't-
going nuts?
I don't see it. You guys see it?
Well, I see it in that they're bald white men. Yes.
Isn't that enough? Don't they all look the same?
So then in that you look the same as well, Mike. Yeah.
God damn it! All right, I'll do a side by side later.
Okay,
Fuck.
okay. Post it your stories and tag us.
I got to take a piss. I'll be right back.
Okay, so is Martin gonna beat this?
Show me a back double bicep.
He doesn't have any.
Yeah. Why? Why not?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to freak you out with it.
Look, he's got crazy quads. I'll give him that. The rest of it, I'm just like, I think he's a good bodybuilder, no doubt. Do I think he is as good as we're thinking? No.
Holy shit!
I know.
Say some shit now, Ian. Talk
That's what
that
I'm
shit,
saying.
I've seen
motherfucker.
all these pics. I've seen them all.
Look at the veins. You're not supposed to have veins like that run through your abs.
Yeah, you are.
You telling me his glutes aren't in, looking like that from the front?
Look, I don't know if his glutes will be in or not. I'm just not sure if it is going to
Ian,
look.
Ian doesn't think his back is up to par with the front, which I don't necessarily disagree
I think
with.
he's very
That's a good
strong in a few poses, which is all he shows on social media. I think he has an amazing front double bicep. I think he has a pretty good most muscular. You'll never really see much in terms of a side shot, and you'll absolutely never see
Hey,
a back.
that's a good side shot, isn't it?
Yes, it
Or
is.
no?
It's a very good side
It's
shot.
decent. Yeah.
Decent. Ian,
Decent.
look at the side of his fucking leg. It looks like a
His
horse's
side leg is awesome, but the pose as a whole, I don't think is like an
Well,
exceptional.
I mean, he's not doing the pose great, but
Yeah.
he does have a thick chest, good
no,
arms.
it's
and
good. But
if
from
he-
what
if-
I've seen him on stage, I'm not 100% sold from his previous showings that I think he is as good as we'll hope.
Has he
I think he's
competed as
still
a pro
very
yet?
good. I still think he is a guy that can win shows and get to the Olympia. But do
No,
I think
this is-
when people were talking about last year, like he's going to qualify for the Olympia and be a shakeup in the top 6? I'm like, no.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not saying top 6. I'm not saying that, but I do think he could win Detroit.
I think if
Not-
he has
I
freaky
don't-
conditioning, he could fuck with a lot of people with that size and shape, because his shape is great. His conditioning, I don't know, and his size is fucking ridiculous. But then again, there's that other thing we talked about earlier. You got to stand him next to people, man, because
Yeah.
I look good in photos and I look like shit in real life. So you never can tell.
Yeah,
I
no,
just-
look, I think he's good. And do I think he could potentially win this show? Yes. But do I think he's like, if you put a Tonio or a Rafa in the lineup, if they showed up, I think he's getting steamrolled.
Okay, we're gonna get to the Arnold Brazil because that is gonna be who's competing against. But I just want to
You
finish
gotta
off.
remember too, just so I can interject.
Seth,
Dude,
What do you think about this before you go on?
I heard it
Can
while I
we
was
just look at his
taking a
big toe for a second?
Can we
That is a
not? Can we
massive
just
big
not?
toe.
telling you, he's just
Look
better.
at that
If your
thing.
toes are that big, no one's gonna fuck
What's going on
with
with
you.
his toes? That's crazy.
But I think Martin last year, whenever he went up against Andrew, I can't remember what show that was.
That was Arnold and France, I believe.
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, but he went up
Maybe it
against
was
them
2
again
years ago.
overseas. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Martin was nasty at that show. If he comes in looking like that again, he's going to be very difficult to beat. Very difficult.
I don't
This
think
is wild.
so.
This is a wild shot.
I'm only going by this shot. I don't think Martin's front double bicep is better than this front double bicep.
I agree. I do not think Martin's front double bicep one pose is better than this one. No.
No, and that's all I'm saying. But that's all we have to go on, right?
Yeah.
So you
But
don't
that's
have
why-
to be,
that's
you don't
why-
have to be
that's why I'm
nasty
not-
about it, Ian. That's me.
That's
Ian,
why I'm not
what are
so
you
good
running,
either.
bro?
You're basing everything off one picture or two pictures that he always posts in the
But
same.
that's all I got to go on. That's all I got to go
Yeah,
on.
but that's why I'm not sold, because I'm not letting it sell me until I see more.
I know I've already been burned by social media twice in the last couple shows. Marcelo got me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and who was the one before that got me? Somebody else. But anyway, I agree with you. Until we see more poses, we can't say definitely.
But I will be very happy to concede if he shows up there looking crazier than ever. I will be happy to see it. I just don't believe it yet. Yeah.
So where does Justin fit into this? Because I feel like Justin looks better than the Arnold.
He looks way better than he did at the Arnold.
I don't know shit about shit here, so please forgive all my ignorance, but it seems to me that Justin Rodriguez we're talking about, right?
Yes.
He has come in before looking off, but he's come in looking on as fuck. When he's on as fuck, there's just a lot of him. He's a fucking serious problem.
Yeah.
But if he's not on, then it's like anyone who's not on, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, see, I think Justin's at the point with his physique now where I think the limiting factors is midsection, and even when he's in really good shape, it's still really hurting him in some very important poses.
Right.
So I think he's been on this year. You can see the Arnold right there or whichever one that was right there. Like, he was in solid condition. Have I seen him a little better? Sure. But he was still very, very good. But it's his midsection in the front shots, which is like doing him the most
But
damage.
I want to say, Ian, sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to say, like,
Looks good there.
So I just want to say, I agree with you 100%. When I saw him come out at the Arnold, I was like, there is a lot of muscle, a lot of mass, big guy, takes up a lot of space. Right. I think it has something to do with the way he's carving up, though, because when I looked at the Arnold, he did not look like his midsection did not look like this in front double bicep. It looked washed out. It looked puffed out.
I mean, this is a week ago working with a new coach now with Justin Jacoby, and his midsection here already does look dramatically better than it looked at the
This is what I'm saying. So I'm like, I
If he
wonder.
can keep it like this, then I think he
Yeah.
will be very dangerous. But that's not what we've seen on stage for him the last like 3 or 4 shows,
Right. I just feel like if he can keep this level of detail and not blow it out,
Yeah.
he could potentially beat Martin.
I mean, he's beat really good guys at really big shows.
He's a massive bodybuilder.
He's
Like
been 8th place, 9th place at the Olympia.
he's
a great
another one.
bodybuilder.
He's another one. And you know what? This goes to Mike's theory. He's got a big head, and he does not look as big in photos as he looks in real life.
For sure.
it's so difficult to compare, in my experience, stage shots standalone versus gym shots standalone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say something. I hope sure to God this doesn't bite me in the ass and fucking people don't fucking give me the nod on this and the following. But there are bodybuilding shows, I'm not going to list which ones, that do an amazing job with stage lighting, and every dude looks their fucking best. And then there are shows that were like, you guys had one fucking job, make the athletes look their best, and everyone looks like fucking shit. Now
We talk about this all the time.
Oh my God.
it's crazy. Thank God you guys are talking about it.
Seth knows
It's
exactly
just
what
like,
I'm.
what, like some of the fucking NPC shows, you look at your pictures later and I'm like, was this taken from the worst possible angle? Did you shine a projector at everyone? Everyone looks awful. And it's like, it's doing your fucking, your show a disservice, because people are like, yeah, man, all the guys were off. No, they fucking weren't. Everyone is stellar. And that's the difference between real life guys who went to the show. They're like, dude, everyone looked ridiculous. And then people look at pictures and like, dude, everyone's off. Like, no, they're not. Luckily at a show, it doesn't matter because everyone's under the same light. So you can still get totally objective judging. But if you compare show pics of a guy 2 weeks ago to gym pics of another guy 3 days ago, it's literally fucking apples and oranges as far as I can tell.
Mike is literally feeding into the whole
I know.
Detroit Pro. This
I
is
know.
great.
This is going to be horrible. If people show the Detroit Pro and the lighting's off, it's like, Mike told
What
you.
if the lighting's off?
You
I
only
swear
had
to
one
God,
job
I'm
to do,
storming
motherfucker.
out.
So can I just say, as a promoter, the lighting thing is not necessarily easy. If you
It's
want to
not
get
even
it,
up to you. It's the
if
fucking
you want,
stage.
if you want to get it perfect,
Backdrop though.
no. Backdrop, agreed. We're doing a black backdrop. We're in a theater, so we have definitely should have better
Down lighting.
Right. But unless you hire a fucking lighting tech that knows exactly how it's supposed to look, you're at the whim of the venue
100%.
that you've rented, or the people that are building your stage if you're in a hall.
And they have no idea what the fuck they're looking at. They're used to putting on Romeo and Juliet reenactments.
I've sent umpteen photos of like the Arnold Classic prejudging where they just use black backdrop. I'm like, this is what it should look like. So hopefully we'll get that.
I think a lot of it, the lighting matters, but I think a lot of it just is the backdrop. You'll see people having like colored digital backdrops where like you have no contrast of like a reddy orange tan against like a reddy orange fucking background, and then plus like bright lights. Like it's the simplest thing. Like I know you want to show your sponsors and blah blah blah, but like put those around the fucking stage and have a black backdrop. It's very simple.
So touching on what Mike said about the stage versus gym, I'm 1000% in agreement. The only reason I feel like this is a little different is because
we know what he looked like on stage.
Yeah, he didn't have any of this detail at the Arnold.
Like, well, no, go to pictures in the gym before the Arnold. You can see where his midsection looked like.
If we go back, is there a front double anywhere, or did he not want to do it?
Keep going.
This is at the in the hotel.
But you can even see, like, look in the side shot at his midsection there. You can see even a little bit there. Like there, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like it was.
I want to see if there's a gym shot of him doing like a front double.
There.
Before.
Oh, there. Below.
Below?
Right below and to the left.
Yeah.
See, you can see the difference.
Yeah. This didn't. But I wonder also if it's because it's a gym shot or if it's because of the peak. Because the only reason I say this is this kind of thing would happen to me because my stomach was my weakest spot near the end of my career. And if I didn't peak just right, my stomach would be fucked. Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, it really looked to me at the Arnold like they over peaked or peaked with the food they hadn't used, and he had no detail in his stomach.
Sure. I would agree with you as a whole that I think peaking can obviously be a big change in someone's appearance, especially through the midsection with, you know, foods and digestion and or holding water, whatever. And look, I really like Justin. He's a friend of mine and I competed against him for years. But I think if it was just one show, I would agree with you. But if it's a trend, but it could be that they were also doing the same style of peak every show
over and over again.
Working with before Justin, and maybe Justin obviously sees that as his biggest pitfall and is very adamant to try and change that. And it is able to be changed. So I guess we'll see here under different tutelage if that's something that can be adjusted. You know, so I'm not positive. I think it's started to get a little bit, you know, anatomically changed in some regard. But we'll see, I guess, in Detroit.
Seth, what do you think? If you had to put money on it, where's Justin finish?
I think we're putting a lot on good Vito. This being his first pro show.
Second, because he's doing Arnold Brazil first.
Oh, he's doing the Arnold.
So we'll get a look at
go around. Go around.
We'll get a good look at him.
I'm going to put Martin first, and then I'm going to say that if Justin continues on this, and I don't the stomach thing, my question would be to Iain and you, Fouad, I guess Mike as well, would be, do you think that it's just age?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
That for sure.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
And I'm asking that because I don't even know if it's a peaking thing. It'd be really nice to see him come in. Like I was Cement Factory. I just saw it on my feed, posted pictures of him like 6 years ago. And I was like, holy wild shit, was he
like New York Pro, like 2018, 19, 20. He was crazy. Yeah.
Nasty.
So
I'm wondering, like, if that's attainable, even for one last hurrah, like one or two more times.
And that's kind of what I was saying before. Is I'm not sure that it's a peaking issue, and it may be, but it may not be. I'm not 100%.
So the
sure.
reason, the thing
I don't believe it is. No.
The thing I'm going to say is both things can be true.
Yeah.
Because
it could be a combination.
Because we all know, like, as bodybuilders age, their stomachs change. Like you've seen it with Big Ramy, you see it with everybody. As you pass the 35 year point, things start to change a bit. But I think both things can be true. Maybe if they try something different, he might be able to like keep it together. So we'll see.
Another thing is the way a lot of guys prep is just ungodly amounts of orals. and also you take them all the way through the peak because they fill you the fuck out and dry you out at the same time.
Yeah.
But orals, like for me, if I'm on orals, my gut is bigger, bro.
Yeah, oh,
within
yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about 50 mgs of VAR. Some of these motherfuckers are doing 200-300 mgs of all kinds of shit. That will make a big impact. So some guys can get into lower dose of orals, bring in a really slim waistline, but then they don't have that fullness everywhere else as much.
Right.
They're down in body weight. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think a lot of these guys keep those orals in because they're also running like a T3 and shit. And they know the T3 is going to pull from their fullness. So they'll keep some other orals in to keep the fullness. They're playing this balancing act. And if your stomach's already fucked or already an issue, then you're 100% right. It can not help. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Seth.
but I see Justin in the second or third spot. I see Martin being very difficult to beat if he's on. If he's on, I think that he'll have he'll be denser, he'll be fuller, he'll be harder. But I think it'll be Martin, and that's with the people that are in the lineup. If
we're just gonna go with those three. We'll go with those three for now, since we don't know who else is in. Just go with Vito, Martin, and Justin. Give me your placing, Seth.
Martin. Man, I just don't know that behind the. I want to see a rear shot of Vito. I got to see a rear shot of him. And
I'll tell you from seeing a couple shots in the past, the back doesn't match the front.
Fuck.
Not horribly, but it definitely is not as wow. Like holy shit.
But does he have glutes though?
He'll be. I'm certain. I think he'll be in shape. Yeah, he'll be.
If he's in shape, man, fucking Vito. Holy Christ.
Yeah.
I'll say Martin, Vito, Justin. I want to. After seeing those pictures of Justin, I was like, man, if this dude nails it again, it's going to be wild.
I think if Justin can keep his waist looking like that photo, I think he can win.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
Because he's got an opposite issue from. I think Martin has a little bit more narrow clavicles, whereas Justin's super fucking wide. So if he can keep the stomach in check and it looks good, I think he wins the show.
Yeah.
But that's a big if. Like,
yeah,
we haven't seen that in like Iain said, like a few shows.
Martin, I like Martin. We used to sponsor him, and then all the bullshit happened, and he just was in a really rough head spot. I like Martin a lot. I think as a competitive bodybuilder, that dude has a wild career ahead of him. And I really want to see him do well from a competitive bodybuilder standpoint and from a personal standpoint. I think that he's just a young guy that's really in it. And I want seeing him train with Brett, knowing Brett's got a good level head on him. Yeah. I really hope that's a good influence on him, and he's going to do really well.
I think Martin's turned his life around quite a bit in the last couple of years. He seems very focused. He doesn't seem like he's paying attention to any of the bullshit. And he's like I said, I agree with you. He's a good kid, and I think he's going to do really well moving forward.
Yeah, dude. One of the young kids that just we all do dumb shit and make big mistakes, and it's like fucking when you do them in the social media light, it's like, oh, dude, now everybody hates
it's weird how social media works. You have to be perfect. It's like everybody on there is like judging you nonstop, and if you fuck up once, you're fucked. That's it.
I do have a hack to that, Fouad. You just stop reading your comments.
Oh,
Joe Rogan said it a long time ago.
I know.
You don't have to be shit.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see Martin.
Iain, top three.
I'm going to do this just because I've been saying the opposite the entire show. I'm going to go Vito, Martin.
Vito, Martin, and Justin.
Sure.
Nice.
Okay. Mike?
I'm not qualified for this remotely.
Just do it anyway.
Just do it. I'd say I just agree wholeheartedly with Iain. That's actually what I came up with in my head. Assuming you were going to push me on it like you did, I actually came up with that, and then Iain stole my idea out of my head.
I was assuming that's how Fouad was going to do it, so I just wanted to say it before. And now, because you always try and do different to what I do to keep the show interesting, you can't put Vito first now.
Fouad's like got equations and shit in his head now, trying to figure out which way to.
Okay, I'm going to ignore all of you and think about what I actually think is going to happen. I think
maybe Ron Gordon's going to win the whole show. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Ron Gordon looks incredible. My only
just needs more legs.
His legs are a little. His upper body's fucking so impressive, but he's
one of those guys too. When you see this motherfucker in person, you will shit your fucking pants.
Yeah. He's got
like
the
fucking 6'2", and he's so bubbly. And he's fucking tall and black and beautiful.
He's got the tall guy curse though. His legs like His overall shape reminds me of Jamie Johal. He's not as big. I just mean like he's got such a massive upper body and the legs are a little bit straight.
Remember Joel Stubbs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
He had like 2 major quad surgery injury things, though. It was kind of tragic.
I did a guest posing with that motherfucker. You know how big that fucking guy was?
His back was like
back
absurd,
is just
right?
like
he was sponsored by Muscle Tech whenever I was for a minute, and I remember
I was there too.
Yeah, because I remember sitting there with him. Where were we? I think we were in Texas. And
everyone in like 2005 was with Muscle Tech, eh?
Yeah,
it was 2008, 2008 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, 9, 10, 11. Because Cedric was there.
Remember they fired all of us so they could give Phil our money. They're like, they just called me one day. They're like, we have to give Phil your money. You're fired. I'm like, oh fuck.
At least it's direct.
Like my contract still had like a year in it. They're like, nah, sorry, you gotta let you go. I'm like, motherfucking Phil.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, they fired that day. They told me, they're like, don't feel bad. We let go of 12 other guys. And I think that was Seth, Cedric. Leo Ingram. There was like a whole list of fucking guys. Joel Stubbs. They fired all of us.
Yeah, because I remember sitting looking at Joel. I'm like, how are your where did the meat racks come from, dude? Like, here's your waist, here's your lats. Like they're here. They're not like
they hung, right? They hung.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. Dude, he was super nice.
Phil Heath. Has anyone watched this movie yet?
Oh, it looks good.
I honestly just watched it today. It's actually very good.
Where'd you watch it on? What platform?
Said it was pretty good.
On Apple TV.
What kind of movie is this?
In Canada. It's like a Phil Heath documentary of sorts, kind of.
Yeah, there was the other one on. Was there another one came out? Generation Iron did the one on Rich Piana. Like,
that's a Generation Iron one. This one's not. This is done by like
the Rocks production team.
Yeah, $7 production, which is like the Rocks film company and stuff. It's good. It's actually very well done. It's a good story. Like starts his childhood and kind of like works up. It's very well done. Actually, it's good.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so right now I have Martin, Vito, Justin. So I'm in the same camp as Seth, but I think I don't know if I should. I was gonna put Justin. Yeah, I was gonna put Justin in second, but I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. What does it matter anyway? No one gives a fuck.
Just do it.
And that sums up the whole show. See you guys next time.
No, fuck you, Ian. You're not stealing this shit from me. I fucking was gonna say Vito wins. You're a fucking cocksucker.
Should have put yours down first.
Vito, Martin, Justin. Eat shit. Fuck you. Okay, but we're probably gonna change these again after we see him in Brazil. So going to Brazil, what do you guys think? Rafa, Tonio, Vito. I don't know who else is doing Brazil. I know William Martins.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-man race between those two, but it's honestly very fucking hard to pick between those two. I'm a huge Rafa fanboy, and I'm also a big Tonio fanboy, but I'm going to go with Rafa.
Tonio, you know, Rafa's going to be a lot bigger, but Tonio is so complete and so deep. Complete. It's very like a Dexter Jackson.
Yeah.
He was able to go from the 212s into the open and do very well just because of not being weak in any category.
Very strong.
I'm excited to see how he increased everything from a stage presence,
especially now that he's been consistently getting in shape. You know, and he actually works with the same coach that Justin's working with now, that Justin Jacoby guy.
Oh yeah.
And he's like leveled up big time in terms of his ability.
What the fuck is up with his shoulders? God damn it.
Perfect.
He's fucking awesome, man. I think he's such a good
little
body.
Like Dexter, like turtle shell, small waisting, you know?
I think I'm going to pick Tonio, man. I just love his fucking physique.
He's in shape.
I think I'm going to stick with Rafa, but he looks fucking crazy good, man.
Well, I know how much Tyler likes Rafa's physique, so that's going to be tough too, but I don't think Tonio's missing anything.
He's not. He's literally not at all. No.
Hi, guys. What are you doing? Come here, shithead. Come here, shithead.
What is it? Dog or cat?
I'm going to say child. Oh.
This is my little shithead. I don't have kids.
Oh my God. It looks so mean.
What are you doing, Stinky? He stinks like piss.
Nice.
You need a bath. He needs a bath. No, this motherfucker, I got a 75, 80-pound charcoal lab, and this motherfucker rules the house, and he's only 16 weeks old. I'm like, how the fuck does that happen?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways.
Size doesn't matter.
It doesn't in this case, that's for sure. Mike, does size matter? Mike's selling black shirts with his dick on it, but his dick is so small that you can't see the dick. It's just a black shirt. That's not what I
Easy.
said. He said that to me. I didn't say it.
You can charge printed t-shirt prices for no print at all. Fucking biggest hack ever.
He said it to me the other day. I was fucking pissing myself laughing. Iain, by the way, I saw your shirt. Are those on sale?
They'll be on Friday.
Let me see.
What does that mean?
Go ahead and tell me. We were on the podcast trying to decide everybody's amount of gayness, and Ian's 41%.
That's what that is. That's awesome.
I'm the highest on the podcast team here with 41%.
That is awesome.
Good numbers.
I think Lee
seriously going to sell those?
Leo does me, but he's not on like the
yeah, he's not a regular. Yeah. So
You're really selling those on Friday?
Yeah.
Nice.
of course he is.
Nice. I'm in.
He's got another one that he's selling that he won't tell me what it is though.
No, it's not. This is the funniest one for sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. What are we doing here for Brazil? I'll start with you, Seth.
I think Rafa and then Tonio. I think
then Vito?
Rafa is just.
Do you
and
think
then
is there any chance Vito shocks people and beats either one of them?
I don't think so. I think the other two are too complete. I think Rafa is nasty. I like Tonio a lot just because, I mean, it's hard.
Okay, I'll ask you a more pointed question. Do you think Tonio's level of detail will overcome Rafa's level of size? Because Rafa, although he's very, very complete, doesn't not have the level of detail that Tonio has.
I don't think so. Not in this case.
Okay. So you're solid Rafa, Tonio, Vito.
Yes.
Okay. Iain, are you in the same boat?
Yeah, I'm Rafa Tonio. I don't know who else is in the show, so I guess if we're just speaking these
William Martin's the only other considerable name that I'm sure there's others, but those are the only one I know. And he actually looks really good right now, to be honest with you. He looks very. I'll pull some pictures up.
Yeah.
Can you take him?
His midsection is obviously a big issue for him as well.
He's brought it down. Let me show you. I mean, like you said, we don't know what it's going to look like on stage.
And I know who the one you were thinking of. That was our other one that fucking photo got us when you were saying Vito.
Who was it?
You couldn't remember? It was fucking Vlad.
Oh, Vlad got me real bad.
Fucking Vlad.
Oh my God, Vlad. Yeah, that was
Europeans, bro. See, we're talking about the Vito, the fucking Vlad, like these guys, man.
No, check out William Martin's though.
Drinking their head and shit. You know, you don't know what they're doing over there.
Nasty.
Look at this level of detail, man.
Yo, he's got crazy legs. I'm not disputing that.
No, but even his waist. Watch, I'm gonna go through.
Yeah, I'm looking here now.
The skin is just thin, man. It's like
He's got that old Ronnie Raquel look.
you're just saying that because he's
down more, but then I need to see him with that
Seth,
shot.
You just pulled a totally racist. Like he looks like him in the face with the hair, so you're like he's got Ronnie Raquel. Like
he's
totally
German too, right?
Look at that skin, dude. Pull up. Don't give me that shit.
Yeah, he's German.
Nah.
Okay,
I think he's like Danish or something. Actually,
Same shit.
same shit.
okay.
Why didn't you give him the Korean shit for the small heads?
I did. I did. Okay. What do we? Is this an illusion, or is he going to look like that much better?
There's a picture. Go a little bit down, and now I know.
The shots that hurt him are shots like where his hands are over his head, a front double, have some thighs, front lag spread.
Those are from a little while ago, aren't they?
Yeah, now we're not. This is not fair to look at that one.
We'll see his bench press. Is he touching his chest or what?
Oh, God damn it.
Let's see. We're gonna Mike.
God damn, he's fucking huge.
Man, that's a big boy.
Got the elbow sleeve, elbow wraps.
Better do it.
I'm gonna say
at least 10 reps with this, or
I'm gonna say he's an inch above his chest. I'm gonna just go on a limb and guess.
I think he's touching it.
I think he's 2 inches above.
Damn.
Oh, you're right.
That was about.
See, I think that's a good press, personally. Look how deep his elbows are. Like that looks good to me.
It's a fine press. It would be better if we went lower.
Okay. Okay. Impressive though. Very impressive. Let's see. Is this one touching his chest?
Impossible because his training partner prevents that from happening.
Yeah.
No, this is only 3 plates. Let's see if he goes deeper with.
I think there's a quarter on the end there, right?
No, it looks like just 3. I think.
Just 3.
I don't know. Let me see. I can't tell.
Horrible cameraman.
I've never used knee wraps or whatever elbow wraps.
Elbow wraps, no, me neither. Sleeves.
I use sleeves. Yeah, I never wrapped them like that though.
I'm over here like looking around the corner if I'm actually going to see it. Stupid bastard.
Quarter there.
Like, oh, is there a quarter on there?
Let's see. How deep?
This guy is crazy with the spotting.
Yeah, I don't like. Oh, that one's less than the last. He was going deeper with 4 plates.
Boo. No offense.
But
Boo.
look, I mean, the elbow position's good though to me. Like, I think this is a good. I think
It
it's
would be
good.
better if he went lower.
Yeah, but it's not an elbow. It's not an elbow flexion exercise, you know.
Right.
No, but I'm saying like the depth of his chest is going to be in relation to how deep his elbows can go. So it's like, yeah, he could go an inch or 2 deeper, I guess. But
Mike's over here talking shit. He doesn't know if he's got some shoulder problems.
yeah,
Totally.
fuck,
An elbow
fuck-
problem.
He clearly has elbow problems.
yeah,
so,
fuck you,
yeah.
Ian and Mike. You don't know if he's got shoulder problems or not.
Yeah, look,
Shoulder and
all the caveats in place. As long as he's not hurt, he could go deeper. But
You're right.
maybe he's hurt, or maybe he has
You're
really
right.
mobile shoulders. And hurt.
I concede that you are one. Oh, here's some more photos here, like a more like over. I mean, he's not in shape here, obviously, because it's way out. But like,
that midsection shape is just funky, man.
yeah, okay.
He's
I
like
agree.
one
It's wider. It's wider at like the bottom of the waist than it is at the top of the waist. It's
That's
not.
like a.
It's
That's
a
like
reverse taper, you know.
That's like a horrible white guy curse right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it
That's
goes
no
like this
Antonio
way, not
waist is
this
tough
way.
when you stand it next to that shit.
Yeah.
Has Rafa
Rafa
put up any?
Antonio, like, yeah, you know.
I don't think he's put up anything recent because he just competed. But
He's a fucking monster, right? How much does he weigh on stage?
Yeah, like 280. I mean, he's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
I would be
he's not
really
280.
excited though to see this guy like from a bodybuilding perspective. Like we're being uber critical of everything, but I think this dude's conditioning is going to be pretty wild. Like that's
yeah,
going to
he
be fun
gets
to
paid.
see. It's going to be awesome.
Does he? He doesn't work with Chad Nichols anymore, right? I don't think so.
He works with Neil.
With Neil now. Okay.
He works with Neil Hill. Yeah.
He's going to be peeled.
I don't think. I think he'll be peeled, but I don't think he'll have the level of detail that Tonio has.
No, just I mean, just from
Guys, I don't know. When I look at this, I feel like Tonio can beat that. I'm going to go Tonio.
Ooh.
Over Raphael.
I mean, I know I'm
Are
taking
you
like
looking? Are you looking at someone right now?
oh, you guys aren't looking what I'm looking at.
Oh.
I'm like looking at photos by myself. Okay. This is the picture I was looking at. The side tricep. Like it's beautiful, but when I look at Tonio, because he's more compact, he just has more roundness, more detail. Like maybe it could make a difference.
Yeah, but you got to stand them next to each other. Isn't Rafa
Yeah.
6 inches taller or something?
Yeah. He's going to be a bigger guy overall for sure. Like this that front lat spread is going to be fucking lights out for him. He's so good at it.
Well, like, look at that front double there.
Where
There's a whole selection of photos there below it. Yeah, like look at that front double. That's just crazy, man.
I know he's got such a beautiful physique.
Side chest, amazing. Side tri,
Look at
front
that.
double, huge arms, crazy lats, massive quads. That's the only shot that leaves more to be desired is the back
I
shot.
think from the back, Tonio will have him.
I agree. Tonio is better from the back. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But I don't know if that's enough. Well, it depends if he can get him on the side shots because I think Rafa will beat him from the front.
Rafa's pretty goddamn good in the side shots too, man.
Dude, that's an
His front lat is crazy. Front double's crazy.
One sec. That's not really a great angle, but yeah, he's got a massive chest and it's fucking.
Yeah, I'm a fanboy. I'm picking him all day.
yeah. He looked nuts in those gym shots, dude.
This room is like total fucking bullshit.
That's lighting, fellas.
Yeah.
That's in Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough to beat.
Well, he's got that whole waist look in there like the William Martin's guy did, where it's flaring out. Look, it's doing it.
Or he's
Yeah,
right though.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It doesn't look like that on him though. When he does a front double, it disappears.
Yeah.
Like when he has his arms like in a relaxed pose, especially this front lat, like this looks so good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, like wow.
He's got nice quads on him too.
Dude,
So.
In order to hit a front lat like that and have that level of fullness in your shoulders, arms, and chest is nuts.
He's got crazy chest development.
That is nuts.
I wonder if he's got a I wonder if he's got a chest press on here somewhere.
God.
Imagine, what will you say if it's like the most beautiful depth chest press you ever saw in your life?
Well, I've already conceded that Mike's right. What I want to know what you guys will say if it's a shit fucking rep.
I know.
You know what's trippy to me, and I can't make heads or tails of this. A lot of top pros just don't regularly post training videos, and I honestly think, other than whatever kind of personal shit they got going on, they're kind of missing out, man. Like Sam Sulek posts all of his training, and because there's so much content there. But like, look at you're scrolling through the Rafa's feed. Like, I, as a fan of bodybuilding, because I'm shit at the actual sport, I want to see his fucking training, and it's like every 10th video is training. I'm like, motherfucker, I want to see that shit.
Can I tell you, maybe
Are they posted on YouTube or not at all?
I think some do more than others. Like if you look at James posts more training stuff. I think you're right overall, but I wonder sometimes. I mean, Nick Walker posts a ton of training stuff.
He posts
I
a lot, period.
I wonder sometimes though if the reason they don't is because of the fucking comment sections. Because every time you post a training video or a training exercise, inevitably you get a shitload of like, oh, you're doing that wrong or whatever. It's like I wonder if they just avoid it just for that reason.
I mean, it also, like, I mean, depends on the type of engagement that some people get too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some people post training videos and get crazy engagement, and then
Mhm.
other people train it and nobody gives a fuck.
I
And
wonder.
we can all say that, like, at some point we all kind of get like, man, I didn't get no views on that one. I probably shouldn't have did that. And it's like, fuck it.
I wonder if it's also like some people when they train, they just don't want to fuck around with their phone.
100%.
They're like, I'm training. I don't, because there's this. I went through phases. Like,
Yeah, most of these guys are like having cameramen in the gym. They're not fucking around on their phone, you know.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think everybody brings a camera guy to the gym with them every day.
Not for every session.
No, not for every session.
I will.
No,
But
but
like,
I think
when I was competing, I would film at least like twice a week with a camera guy in the gym. Yeah,
yeah, but I think Mike's talking about like if you're training every day, why not post like
every day. Yeah,
because I went through a phase where I was posting a training exercise every day, and then I went through a phase where I was like, I just want to train. I don't want to post anything. I just want to work out. So I think it's like maybe a little bit of maybe it's some of that too. Here's a dumbbell row for you, Mike. You want to critique that?
Fuck, is that a GIF? What the hell is going on?
I don't know why it's like that. I wonder if it's.
oh, it's just how he did it. Yeah,
I think it's just him showing he can row the.
So he's teleporting it. Interesting.
Let's see his heavy bag work.
Oh shit. It's getting fucking real.
Oh,
wow, look at this.
bodybuilders look so bad. when
Very
they try.
well. All right.
Joking around, but
I know he was. I know. Relax, Ian. I'm not taking it out on your fucking man crush.
this is my fucking best, my favorite.
Leave him alone.
You know what happened? I think Ian's got PTSD from when he said something bad about a Brazilian and he got roasted.
No,
So now he's never going to say.
I have to favor Raphael the most because he beat me by one placing in the last.
I know
Olympiad.
that too. Of course, you're like if Raphael beats everybody, that means
So if he's the best bodybuilder ever, that means I'm like kind of close to the best bodybuilder.
Just behind. I
I
love it.
love the reasoning. Oh wait, do we have an exercise here? Is it a squat?
God, if this is some footage where we don't get to see the depth of technique like most footage, where there's not enough of it, like they flash right out after they show a little bit. See, that's exactly what it was. Exactly what I said.
Okay, there you go. What do you think of that? That's good.
Yeah, I don't know that fucking half rep that. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. That guy's a nice guy. What's his name? The other gentleman.
Fabrizio or not?
Yeah,
Fabrizio.
he's a nice kid. Yeah, I think this training leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah.
Well, what do you think of that squat?
I think it was like 1 foot shy of how low he could have gone.
Mike, you're so fucking. He just don't give a fuck. Okay.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Okay. So Brazil, we got everybody's put. Mike, who did you put? Where are you going with
I
Brazil?
didn't pick anything. I'm staying out of Brazil.
You're staying out of Brazil? Okay. I'm going to go with Tonio just for fucking shits and giggles. Actually, I shouldn't do that. There's no point. I think.
I know, I think it's not a bad bet going with Tony.
No, it's not a bad bet. I think it's
He was
very,
a
very
fucking-
close.
he was
Yeah.
really high at the last Olympia. I mean, he's a fucking sick bodybuilder.
It's definitely very close.
Raphael, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, what happened? I'd be like,
No.
cool, awesome.
I know that. I know how much Tyler likes Raphael's physique.
Well, is Tyler head judging? Maybe he's not. Maybe it's Steve.
Yeah.
I also think that it's going to be not apples to oranges, but starting to go along those lines.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think that Rafa's dominance on stage is going to outweigh Tonio's detail and where he is, unless we're just seeing the gym stuff of Tonio. He might be able to stand next to him and go, ooh, we were wrong. Like, because it's been a year since he's been on stage. So
I'm going to go Tonio, Rafa, Vito.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in for it.
Okay. We did the show stuff. We argued a little bit. Let's do some questions. Well, wait, I gotta ask you guys about this one thing before we move on. So I was asked this question, and this was my top 10. Well, I gave more than 10, but what is that noise? Oh, that's Mike's mic.
I found it very interesting, like because it's a good movie, but to put it as number one, Last Samurai, Tom Cruise.
What the fuck?
That's crazy. That's a crazy number one.
Time out. Time out.
That's wild to put that number one.
Okay, could we just shut up for a second? It
No.
says at the fucking bottom, if you read the whole thing, that's not in order.
Oh,
It doesn't
Then why'd you
matter.
put numbers next to it?
There's not a
Well,
fucking
just
top
because I was
10 that
counting
movie
out
makes.
10.
Oh, okay.
Wait a
Can
second.
you
You
show
don't,
the list again?
you don't think Last Samurai is in top 10 of any movie list?
No, like
Oh.
most culturally appropriative white man playing some Japanese motherfucking movie. Sure.
Oh, here we go
Look,
with the woke
I think
shit.
it's a decent movie, but I definitely would never
Decent movie. Ian, you're so funny when somebody else is on the podcast. You literally said it was awesome.
wait. You would think that
You literally said it was awesome, like in previous podcasts. I'm gonna Brandon.
We've never find me
Brandon,
one clip ever of me saying
I'm gonna because I know this has come up. Brandon, make sure you
never
find that
talked
clip.
about this movie before on the podcast.
Oh my god, for sure we have many times.
When have we ever talked about that movie?
We all love it, but not now because Mike's here.
Why? I said it before Mike even said who was the one that brought up it being not the number one.
Okay. Anyways, it is not. I didn't say it's number
I said
one.
that I think it's a good movie, but to have it in your top 5 or top 10 action movies is crazy. That's all I said.
It's in
Man
my
on
top.
Fire sucked too.
What?
It's
What
just
does-
Denzel having a lot of feelings for a whole movie. Like, oh,
Man on Fire sucks.
Oh man. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
Denzel.
I like
Oh.
that.
Okay. Let's go over. Mike, let's hear your top 10 so we can see. Man on Fire is not in the top 10. Holy shit.
My top 10 what? A top 10 action movies?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, it's tough to generate a list on the spot like that, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was doing. It was in my stories.
Oh, well, you had a whole story to the fucking. You had to write
I
it
was-
down and stuff.
I was sitting on a plane and I was like, okay, I like this one, this
Do
one. This
5. The story actually asks for 5.
one. Okay, do 5.
Jeez, that's hard.
American Ninja 1,
What?
American Ninja 2. You got to look these movies up. They're fucking legendary.
I've never seen them, so I can't say they're shit or not.
Does martial arts movies like combat does that also count, or is
Yeah,
that
of
to be
course
gun
they
shit?
can. No, it can be martial arts.
Kickboxer,
Oh.
Jean-Claude Van
Oh,
Damme.
that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and with Jeff Speakman, highly underrated, The Perfect Weapon. Amazing early 90s movie that's not even good. And none of these movies are good. But there's a difference between good and fucking legendary. And they're all fucking legendary. Anyone, if you watch any of these movies, I'm sorry, I wasted 2 hours of your time. But they're fucking so awesome, dude.
So your
American-
picks, so you're admitting your picks suck, is what you're saying.
Like, I mean, like, all action movies are kind of fucking wacky because, like, once you know anything about combat, you're like, these guys don't even hold their weapons properly. None of these martial arts makes any goddamn sense. You know what I mean? Like,
But can't you just watch a movie and get into it without critiquing it?
fuck no. How the hell are you supposed to do that? I mean, if I'm high enough on weed, sure.
So if you watch Rambo 1, you're like, oh, this is bullshit.
100%. But Rambo 1 is fucking legendary. Right? These all these other movies are total bullshit. But then I'm like, you have to dip into the bullshit pool.
Terminator 2 is
I don't like the Terminator
that must be
movies.
exhausting.
Welcome to Judaism. I'm in my head all the time. It's terrible.
oh my god.
No,
Bra-
it's awful.
The Patriot, Braveheart, you think those movies suck? Troy, Gladiator?
Troy and Gladiator was cool. Troy sucked. There was a whole lot of
Oh,
nothing. and then someone-
Ian's gonna have
Oh,
a fit.
yeah,
Ian's gonna have
yeah,
a fit.
I said it. And when Brad Pitt
Brad
beats
Pitt
up,
at his most beautiful. You can't
yeah,
say
he is gorgeous, which is great for the sex. But the problem is Nathan Jones, right? The 300 odd pound Australian dude.
Yeah.
When Brad Pitt fights him in real life, I'll be impressed, motherfucker. Ain't no Achilles spear going
Okay,
through that.
let's-
Fuck that.
okay,
Fuck that
okay,
dumbass
Mike-
scene.
Mike
Mike
doesn't like movies.
Mike's a little fucked up.
Mike's a weird guy.
Seth,
with
give me your
issues.
Seth, give me your Seth, have you ever seen The Last Samurai?
Yes.
And is it shit or is it good?
I
Wait.
thought it was pretty good. It's not in my top 5.
you
Okay.
gotta stop. I never said it was shit. I said it to have it in your top 10 was crazy.
I love that movie. I absolutely love that movie. And I like that
I
it was
would watch that
culturally
movie and
appropriated.
enjoy myself.
I like
every
that I like that the white guy taught all the Asians everything. That's my favorite part of the movie.
I love it.
I agree.
Seth, give me your top 5, top 10. Just name
Dude,
some.
there's no
Not,
way.
they don't have to be in order. Here, let's
Seth,
pull
this
my,
is hard, right?
let's
It's
pull my
so hard.
pull my
Oh,
list
it's
up again in case you want to like get some.
There's no way I'm
I'll
putting.
go with you in that. Like, I'm a huge fucking Matrix trilogy guy, so I'll take fucking at least the first two. The third one's meh. The fourth one,
Okay.
that new one is absolutely.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Wait a
gotta
minute.
say
Wait a
this.
minute.
Shit.
Okay, Rambo 1 doesn't fit in your top 5 or top 10.
No.
Rambo
Rambo 1?
1's a classic.
Is
It's a real
Armageddon,
movie.
is Armageddon an action movie?
Dude, no, it's not. Armageddon
No,
sucks.
no, that probably
Fouad,
didn't
who
belong.
made this
That
list?
didn't belong.
That's like a love story.
Okay,
Yeah, like there's
Armageddon
a
probably
rocket in there or
didn't.
something.
Armageddon probably didn't belong in there. I'll give you that.
Aerosmith shows
I'm
up
telling
all
you
of a
guys,
sudden.
this was in my stories, and I was sitting on a plane going, I like this one, I like that one. It wasn't like I sat there and thought of it for 45 minutes.
The
like-
Matrix Reloaded, Matrix 2, to
Like,
me,
that's one.
was a generational turn in action movies. I sat through that movie in theaters. The freeway scene, I sat the entire time mouth agape. I was like, "Ugh." Unreal. Now it looks like a shitty video game, right? But back in the day, dude, it blew my fucking asshole into pieces. I can watch Matrix Reloaded on loop, and if you get high, it's even sweeter. It makes less sense, which is even
Okay,
better.
if
Matrix
it's-
Reloaded for the win.
Okay, wait. If it's hard to put you on the spot, let's just go through my list, and you can say yes or no. Okay, Last Samurai. You guys all agree?
Back up.
Is not,
We can't see it again. We can't see.
I know,
it.
no, I didn't. I know. I'm not putting up. I'm going to go through them so that we all don't interrupt each other.
Sure.
Last Samurai. You guys all agree that it's not top 10. Okay, Rambo 1. Who says it's not top 10?
No.
Ian
I say
says
it's
no.
top 10.
I think it's top 10 for sure.
Okay.
I love that fucking movie. Seth?
It's a great movie.
I'd put. Man, I don't know. It is
Okay,
an iconic movie.
we'll
I
come-
don't know if I'd
we'll-
put it in my top 10.
We'll come back to it. Matrix.
Any
1.
movie in which a local cop pushes a war veteran too far, I'm in.
Is there more? Is there more of those?
There must be, right?
Okay,
There's a lot
Matrix.
of them.
Matrix 1, or like Mike said, Matrix 2. Are those
Yeah.
top 10?
Those are both in my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top Terminator 2.
I
That's
think
my
it's,
that's my favorite. That's my favorite Terminator.
it's another iconic movie. It's hard to
Iconic.
not put it somewhere, or at least something like that from that era. Like Commando is mine. Like
Commando is so
Commando.
good.
I thought about Commando when I was making this list. I thought
Yeah,
Commando
that's in
Predator. Yeah, okay.
Predator, another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Predator solid.
Predators. Do you guys ever seen the one with Adrian Brody, The Predators?
killer.
Dude, that was a fucking sweet movie. I loved it. I
Love it.
might have been the only person who liked that movie other than Seth.
Okay,
clearly, but
Top Gun 1.
nah.
I
It's
thought
classic. It's a classic.
It's just Tom Cruise doing poses. Like, oh,
I
I'm
know,
so
but it's-
sad my friend died. Shut up, Tom Cruise.
I honestly thought the new one
you
was
know what I
better.
realized?
I thought
think
the new one was better.
You know what?
New one
Oh
was better.
no way! Come on.
You don't. Okay, you think the new one's good though, for sure.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not better than the first one.
Okay. I think-
You know what I realized? Mike doesn't like anything emotional, and I think it's because he's on a bunch of gas right now.
100%, dude. Fuck all that emotion shit. No, Rambo 1 is emotional as fuck, man. I love that movie.
No, how's that emotional?
All, also, I will say this is really going to catch me a lot of flack as
It's
well. It
not
should.
over.
Time for some nerd bullshit. The first time I ever saw Top Gun, I'm getting back into my military tech nerd phase again now as an adult, but I was a kid back then and I was fully in it. The aircraft I believe used as the MiG was, first of all, there's no MiG aircraft in Russia of that nomenclature at the time, which is a big mistake. Second of all, it was really a T5 trainer, which to any untrained eye is like dog shit. That's not really, you couldn't convince me that was an enemy aircraft. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, this movie sucks. Get me the fuck out of here. Did it get me beat up a lot in school for being this nerdy? Absolutely. But I own the shit.
Mike, do you ever watch the GQ? I think it's GQ that does it. They get an expert in the field and they make them watch various movies and go.
I love that shit.
I love that too. Those are
I love it.
yeah. No, I actually like that too because they take them through like various, like they'll get a war expert on.
Yep.
And they'll take them through like various war scenes. They'll be like, tell us what's
Yep.
bullshit.
They're
And
like
rate it-
everything. You're
and
like,
rate
oh,
it
shit.
from rate it from 0 to 10. And like half of them are they get some in there that are right.
Some of them are good.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
we'll
I
go
think
through.
that's one of the reasons that John Wick has like really catapulted everything because he's pretty legit.
John
not
Wick.
perfect.
John Wick 1.
He's just invincible. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so
John-
like,
John Wick 4 was shit.
get the fuck out. What are you, crazy? It was
There's
legendary.
literally nothing in there except him shooting.
No, there's
I
nothing.
couldn't-
for
There's
2
nothing at
hours.
all. You don't
I
even
couldn't
know why it's
finish the
happening.
fourth one. Yeah.
I couldn't finish it
Really?
either.
Here's the thing. I have a funny story about the fourth one really quick. I didn't get high and I went to go watch the fourth one in theaters, and halfway through I thanked myself for not being high, because I would have told myself if I was high, like, oh Mike, you got high and this doesn't make sense. But then I realized at full sobriety it still didn't make any sense, and I would have been like, oh, that was a movie I could watch sober later, it'll make sense. And I would have watched it again, I'd be like, nope,
And
never made
wasted
sense
your
to
2
begin with.
hours. It's
So
fucking
did the
brutal.
fourth one ruin the series for you two then?
Yes.
I don't think
Totally.
movies can ruin movies already. It's all pretend.
No,
so I
like,
just pretend it doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
it didn't ruin the series.
Yeah, like,
but
I
it
still-
made me- I definitely
Yeah.
didn't like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the funny thing is, Equalizer 3 is my favorite Equalizer.
So good. Yeah.
I didn't
Check
watch
that
3.
out.
Oh, you got to watch 3. It's
I
better
didn't
than
watch
one.
3.
Number 2 sucks. 1 is
Yeah,
good.
I didn't. That's why I didn't watch.
I
number 2.
abandoned
Number
Seth. I'm in
2
your.
kinda
I
set me
abandoned
off.
after
No,
two.
I know,
Yeah.
but trust me,
Mhm.
3 is
yeah.
goes
Yeah,
back.
Three's
goes-
worth it. Three's
I feel like
definitely
it's better than 1.
Oh,
I don't think Seth. I think if you watch it, wait till you're off all the gas,
Okay,
because there's too much feelings in it. You're in my
Then it's
couple years.
Denzel with feelings again.
I hate it.
Okay, Armageddon. We're gonna leave. What happened?
Battery.
Oh, no, we're gonna get the weird angle now.
Ian loves this angle.
Oh no.
Okay, hi guys.
Ah.
Ugh.
Okay, okay, we're gonna drop Armageddon. Man on Fire. I got to take exception with this, Mike. This is like one of the best. This might be my favorite Denzel movie ever.
Yes.
I just don't like Denzel
Do
movies. I
you like
guess.
it more than like Training Day?
Yes. I don't actually regard Training Day as his top 3 movies,
Whoa.
because I'd put American Gangster above Training Day too.
Oh, I don't like American Gangster that much.
Oh, come on.
I like Training Day.
I watched
because-
it once and I enjoyed it, but the idea of watching it again, I'm like, no, thanks.
First of all, it's a real story, which makes it's a bonus for me. Anytime anything's based on a true story, it's like elevated.
To me, the Denzel trying to look like he's about to say something real deep is the same type of bullshit reaction I get in my fucking heart when Will Smith does that halfway crying bullshit he does in his movies. You know, he's like, I
How do you
hate it.
put
Shut up,
Denzel and
Smith.
Will Smith in the same sentence?
It just, well, they're both great actors, are they not?
They're both black.
And
that's why.
Will Smith can
Hmm.
slap a motherfucker.
They're both
can't
black.
he?
He literally said that because they're both black, Seth.
Definitely.
Why they
did.
got to be black? Fouad? Why you got to bring that up?
Because that's what happened in your brain. You were doing some computing, and you're like,
That's what happened in your brain because
No,
you're
no.
racist. You think I'm racist like you. I got it, Fouad. We're all racist. I got it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
I think I like Denzel. I'm a big fan.
Ian, are
I
you a
am.
Denzel fan?
I like Denzel.
Like how?
Denzel is objectively a really awesome actor.
Okay,
I'm in the wrong
zero to
completely.
10. 0 to 10. Well, how much do you like Denzel, Seth?
As an actor,
No, in person as a boyfriend. Of
I
course.
never met the man,
As I never
Um,
met the man.
so I'm going to go say like a 9.2. I like watching
Yeah.
his movies.
I'm
watch
around
that.
there too, like a 9.5. He's like one of my favorite actors. Ian, what do you think?
I'm like a solid 8.
Okay, so that's why we and you like Man on Fire so much. Okay,
Yeah.
The Patriot with Mel Gibson. Where is that in a top 10 action movie?
No.
I got a Seth is for sure. He's got a Braveheart poster behind him.
I'm a big Braveheart fan, like massive Braveheart fan.
I like
Yeah.
Braveheart more than I like the Patriot.
Yeah, Braveheart's better.
Braveheart's
Better.
in my top 5, possibly
Okay.
top 3.
So I got number 8 and 9 here, Patriot and then Braveheart. So are those in your top 10s or no?
Patriots getting there. Like
Braveheart's in your top 5, you said.
Oh yeah, Braveheart's in my top 5.
Okay. What's number 1 for you? Do you have a number 1 that you know or no?
Depends on the mood I'm in. Like
Number
dude,
one's so tough, right?
No. I
It's
know
so
that. There's probably
tough.
a whole slew of number 1s because you have a favorite
I
comedy,
think-
favorite.
Yeah, I think every man has to watch Braveheart. I think that if you're a man like and you haven't watched Braveheart, I'm like, probably should watch that movie.
I haven't seen it.
Get out.
You haven't
here.
seen
I haven't
Braveheart?
seen it. I haven't seen Patriot either. Mel Gibson just
Yeah,
doesn't
but-
fucking float my boat, man. I'm just like, whatever.
But I think
But I have
Seth,
objectively awful taste in movies. The worst.
but Seth, I think there's also too many feelings in Braveheart for him. There's like a love story and shit.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
there
of
is a
feelings.
lot.
Doesn't he like
There's a
die
lot.
for like 10 minutes straight or some shit like that? I want to see that.
At the end, he's tortured. Yeah.
A lot of love
Great,
shit in
great.
Matrix too, though. He likes that.
Hmm.
Okay, so Braveheart, Patriot, maybe Braveheart for sure. Okay, Gladiator.
Yeah. It's not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody's top 10. Okay,
That's
300.
definitely-
300.
Yes.
Okay, everybody's top 10. Ian,
It's not my top 10, but I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my top 10. Yeah.
it's not in your top 10 either, Seth.
Mm-mm.
Huh. Okay.
No, it's
I
actually
think the
a sick movie.
cinematography is.
No, it's a good
amazing.
movie. I don't know if anyone will agree with me. It's not in my top 10, but it's a fucking sick action movie. Is that movie The Old Guard?
I don't even know that movie.
I don't know that.
Really?
What is it?
Ooh, I never got to watching it. I thought I should watch it. It looked like one of those movies that could either be really fucking sweet or awful.
I fucking love it. I've watched it 15 times at least.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Wait a minute. Is this it here with this chick on the front?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
No shit.
Aren't they all like vampires or some shit like that?
They're not vampires. They're like immortal, but yeah, not vampires. But
Can they die of gunshot wounds?
No.
Yeah. What the fuck's the point of the movie then?
Well,
Did you shoot other people?
I can't tell you.
Don't tell us
Okay,
the movie. I want to watch.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so the last one I got up here is Troy, and we already know that
That's my number one.
Mike's out.
That's my number one.
Not even an action movie. How much fucking action is there? There's that one scene at the end. That's
Ian's
it.
got a man crush on Troy.
Oh my
Brad
God.
Pitt.
There's
Troy
a lot
Brad
of Brad Pitt looking sexy as fuck.
I
I'll
would
give you
bang
that.
Brad
No, but
Pitt fucking so
41%.
That's his
Yeah.
41%.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Troy. Troy's the one that bumped it up to 41%.
hard. Oh my God, yeah. Fuck.
From 1% to 41%.
Look, any good like peak Brad's like even like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like I'll take him all day in the
No,
movie.
he's too clean cut there. I'm not a big fan.
I love it. I'm all about it.
I'm like the Brad Pitt from Snatch.
Ugh.
Yeah,
No,
he's
That's
rugged.
STD
I like-
City.
Rugged.
Like an Ocean's 11 Brad Pitt where he's like eating nuts all the time, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Yeah.
Oh.
What about
meat nuts,
what about
huh?
money? What about Moneyball Brad Pitt?
No, definitely not.
Like a dad.
no,
Yeah,
no,
Good
no.
dad, yeah.
I want him hairless and beautiful, you know?
I'm a
Yes,
big fan
that's a
of
good sign
Moneyball.
that you're straight.
I like Moneyball.
Moneyball. You know how many times I've watched Moneyball? Like probably like 7.
Do you
fucking
like
times.
it?
I
Good
love
movie.
that movie.
Oh, I didn't really get into it.
I love that fucking movie. Okay, Seth, Troy, top 10 or no?
I mean, it's up there because it's like a from our time of like
Yeah.
growing up and like seeing all those, like, yeah, but it doesn't go to
Okay,
my
so I got a lot of no's. What are some of your top 10s then, Seth? You got Braveheart. What else?
Braveheart. I mean, Mike mentioned Bloodsport. Bloodsport's in it because that
I
literally-
totally forgot Bloodsport, Kickboxer.
So
Those are for sure.
good.
Yeah,
It's so hard to even fucking think.
I
of
can replace Top Gun and Armageddon with Bloodsport and Kickboxer.
So the other movies that like, okay, I was a big Bruce Lee fan growing up. So like,
Enter the Dragon.
yeah, dude, can't not like Enter the Dragon, dude.
Do you guys consider like superhero movies and action movies?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Because I could fucking love a good like Marvel movie, you know?
like a Batman, like Batman is Risen or something, or Batman. What's the?
Well, that's DC, but yeah, sure.
Jesus,
Any of those.
Fouad.
I don't know
what
the difference.
fuck?
I'm not a comic book guy. Everybody watching the podcast knows that.
So like an Avengers Endgame kind of like, you know?
Yeah, that was dope. Captain America, the first one and the second one.
All
fuck, really
all
hard.
those movies are out for me.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really a comic. Like I like Batman movies; those are pretty good. But I'm usually
You
out.
want
for
things
the,
like you said as based in reality as possible.
I like.
right?
Well, not necessarily because Rambo's completely bullshit, but I love it.
All
Yeah,
right.
but
but it's
it could be real though, you know?
It could
So
be. That's the imagination part.
Yeah.
the recent movie with the Flash, the DC Flash movie, I think it was Flash movie.
Yeah, it came out
Or
last
was
year,
it-
I think. Yeah.
So like, I cried on a plane watching that.
Was it
You
actually
are all
emotional?
over the place.
I know this guy's
No.
like, I hate emotion. And he's like,
Right? No, there's a lot of emotions. No, I was high as fucking marijuana, but then I cried again later sober. But there was, I don't want to do too many spoilers, although the movie was apparently not that great. The Supergirl is in it, Supergirl, for the first time on like a film, and she is like, you guys know what a social justice warrior is?
yes.
Yeah.
The best possible depiction of a real social justice actual warrior you're ever gonna see. Like pure feminine rage. The shit she fucking unleashed because she's like Kryptonian or whatever, and they kept her in this fucking dark chamber. When she finally gets to the light and starts powering up, oh my fucking god.
Is that a plus?
Oh
for
my
you? Wait,
God.
is that a plus for you? This
Mike,
shit?
like-
He must be kidding right now. I can't.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't-
trying
not
to
kidding.
like you like the
Is it a
SJ?
plus for you that's just the social justice warrior?
Yeah, is that like a good thing?
Typically it's a terrible thing.
Oh, but in this
she's
movie,
got
it
like
was
kind of the pixie cut, and she fucking 100%, you know what's up. But she just like the fighting, the super fighting. Like I love like Dragon Ball Z style super fighting. They knock it out of that movie, dude. There's like if it was any more realistic, it'd be like The Boys when people just blow up into pieces. It was so fucking good. I love it.
What is
Okay.
this movie?
The
Flash.
the
The
Flash,
Flash.
the recent Flash movie. It was like a year
Okay,
ago.
so before I want to get a couple questions in before we go, but I want one top 10 or top 5 action movie from Seth, other than Braveheart,
Top 5.
or top 10.
Braveheart's in there.
He only has Braveheart, you guys. That's it.
Put me on the spot.
We've been talking about this for 20 minutes. You couldn't think of another one?
No, dude, Commando's up there, Bloodsport's up there, Man on Fire's up there. Like
Ian,
those
what
are
do you,
those are in there.
Ian, what do you think about Man on Fire?
I think it's a good movie. I enjoy it. I've watched it many times. I like it. I like Denzel. Would I put it? I wouldn't. It wouldn't definitely wouldn't come to my mind thinking of like one of my favorite Denzel or my favorite action movies. No,
Okay.
it's a great movie though for
What
sure.
about the Jason? I
Well,
thought about the Jason Bourne
There's
movies.
not many movies you'll find that I'm like I dislike. I watch like 5 movies a day, bro.
Well,
Like
you haven't watched
that I don't like.
you haven't watched Million Miles Away yet.
Yeah, but I will never watch that.
Okay, here's another one. Since Mike's such
Mike, have you
massive
seen
fan of-
Million Miles Away?
No, no interest.
Good, good call.
I can't get anybody to watch this movie. Fuck.
What about Mission Impossible movies? Mike's a big fan of Tom Cruise.
You know what?
They fuck.
I never ever watched any of them. I watched the last one. I actually liked it.
They're great.
Last one's pretty.
I didn't
damn
know
good.
how good they were, and I watched the mission. I think it was Mission Impossible 4. I'm like, this is pretty fucking good.
They're on like 6 or
I was
something.
gonna say
Or
they're
the-
only 6 or 7.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was the
Seven.
last one that came out.
Yeah, it was the last one that came out was one that I was like, "Yep, these are why I like them."
You know
I
he
like
did that. You know he did that motorcycle stunt in real life, eh?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
You know the
He
one
is
where
an
the one where he
asshole.
drives off the cliff.
Does all the stunts in real life.
No, I know that, but they showed him. But that one's fucking nuts, dude. Like
Nuts.
he drove the motorcycle off the fucking cliff and then parachuted to the. I'm like, what the fuck? And they showed how they did it, and then they overlay it with CGI. I'm like, this guy's fucking insane.
it was
Yes,
nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's do a couple questions before we get out of here. What is the biggest bullet you dodged when looking back at your life in hindsight?
I literally dodged a bullet once.
No, you
Ooh.
didn't.
I have a good story about this actually.
Okay, tell us.
When I was a little kid, this is bad. I probably shouldn't even say
Oh
it.
wait, I do know the story. Go ahead.
Yeah. Am I like incriminating my father in any way by
I
doing
would
this?
not. Dude,
Yeah,
no,
probably let's
don't.
leave it
Don't
alone.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, and just to preface this, no one shot a gun at me. I was a child playing with a gun and almost shot myself.
Don't.
Well, you already told the story,
Yeah.
so now just let's move on.
All right.
Most memorable gym you've ever trained at for atmosphere and vibe.
The power station in Middletown, Ohio.
Okay.
The old school one, not the new one. The old school one was nuts.
Legendary gym.
I think mine would be Metroflex Long Beach.
Hmm.
Before they moved. I loved it out there.
I probably have the best memories from training and like from atmosphere at West Coast Iron at Parlo's gym. Yeah.
Mike?
I mean, a lot to choose from. I'd have to say me fucking Dragon's Lair, you fucking cunts, or however the fuck Flex talks. It's dope. It's cool, especially for regular people like myself that aren't pros. Like, it's just not a lot of gym where you walk in and it's like a beehive of fucking pros. Pro this, pro that. Everyone's got their name on their belt. It's just dope. Like, it's you show up, pros every day. Because, you know, other gyms, you have to show up at a special time and you see one jack dude. This is just everyone's fucking jacked. It's crazy. I remember being like, usually I'm like the biggest guy at regular gyms. I was like average. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then, like, you know, 300-pound person walks in. I'm like, I'm leaving. I don't even go to the gym anymore because I feel too small.
Do you count a superset as 2 exercises if someone asks you how many exercises did you do in a workout?
Yes.
Ian?
Never thought about it, but I guess, yeah, I would count as if you're doing 2 different exercises, it would be 2
I
exercises.
think I counted as 1. Like if I did chest, and I did like
So if you did 4 supersets, you would say you only did
just hold. Let me explain myself, just so you know what I'm saying. Fuck, man, you're always on me.
Well, it's just a question.
You guys are like an old married couple, man. I love it.
Incline bench, dumbbell press, machine press, and then I supersetted cable flies with pec deck. Not that I would do that, but let's just say. So if somebody said how many exercises did you do, I'd probably say 4.
It's 5.
I know it is technically 5, but I think I would probably say 4 because it's like those 2 last ones are together.
Yeah.
I would say 5, I guess, yeah.
I mean, whenever I'm programming it, I know it's 5 movements, but I would say that is like
It's
if I do
one.
first, they go 1, 2, 3, 4.
I go like 1
4,
AB,
8.
2 AB, 3. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
how
saying.
I would
That's
do
what
it.
I mean. Like if that's a
I
better
know
way to
it's-
put it. When I'm programming it, it would be like this is your last exercise.
'Cause,
Even
yeah,
though it's
But I
2
did 5
exercises.
movements, I suppose.
Right. Prime J versus Prime Dorian.
Okay.
Seth?
I never saw Dorian in real life.
That's
Prime
that's the
Jake
tough one though, right? Because everybody says you had to see Dorian in real life.
Yeah, that's my the the one thing of like, I wish I would have seen Dorian in his prime, like, or at like at an off-season guest pose at 300 pounds.
I'm going to say 2001 Jay was pretty impressive, but I don't know. Dorian's conditioning was fucking wild too.
2009 Jay, you know?
09 Jay was nuts, but
9 Jay was fucking crazy, man. I think he would be way too big for Dorian.
really?
Yeah.
You think that size would out
You know, it's fun. You know, it's funny if you talk about.
I think Dorian's going to be harder from the back, but I think overall Jay's just going to be way too, especially from the front, way too much. Yeah.
If you talk about it weight wise, there's probably not too drastic a difference.
No,
but
he's
if
way
you,
wider and crazier.
But if you look at Dorian's shape, like Jay's leg, Jay's lower body compared to Dorian's, like
midsection, his quads, like fuck, man.
I'm gonna say outside of peak early Ronnie.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. Outside of peak early Ronnie, on average, especially over decades, top 10 Olympians can clean up a lot of just old Olympia guys who won.
Yeah.
And that's like something I think people forget, because when like comparison like that across eras is so tough.
Wait, are you saying top 10 Olympian guys can clean up previous Olympians?
Correct.
Like Mr. I don't agree with that.
Oh yeah. Lee Haney in his prime. You put
Move forward to Dorian. Are you considering him?
I think the top 5 right now can crush Dorian.
I disagree. I disagree. I don't think there's anybody in the top 5 that beats Dorian except maybe Hottie. Or maybe Derek. I don't know.
I think peak, not that weird oil bullshit, Big Ramy toasts everyone in history by a fucking mile.
No way.
Glute striated Big Ramy is an undefeatable force of nature, in my opinion.
Like even against Ronnie?
Yeah.
Oh no, there's no way.
Better lines than Ronnie.
98.
Better cap delts.
No.
Same condition.
No. 98, 99, 2001 Arnold Ronnie is the king of all bodybuilders.
I feel I have a lot of respect for that opinion, Fouad, but he's also undersized on stage to Big Ramy by like 30 or 40 pounds.
Not true. 2003.
It's literally true.
2003, Ronnie Coleman was on stage at 290 pounds.
Yes, but he didn't have the aesthetics of the Ronnie you just talked about. The aesthetics were largely gone by that point. And 2003 Ronnie was a freak, but he wasn't an aesthetic freak. Big Ramy in his last Olympia win was an aesthetic freak. Totally different class of bodybuilder.
2003 Ronnie Coleman at 290 pounds had a little bit of
287 pounds.
Okay, had a little bit of a bloated stomach, but was still an aesthetic freak for somebody that size. And number 2, Ramy couldn't stand from the back with Ronnie Coleman on any fucking day ever in his wildest dreams.
Yeah, I don't know about
that.
Not even I'd like to see them put together some kind of AI fucking bullshit.
Ian, what do you think?
I'm always in the camp of that, like peak Ronnie fucking murders everybody.
Yeah. Like if there's a second place to Ronnie Coleman, it's Phil Heath.
Like, I agree with Mike in the sentiment that I think Ramy, for being bigger, is way nicer shaped. Like his X frame with the quads to the waist and the shoulders are crazy wide. I do agree that, but when I think you're going like pose for pose, I think he's like the back shots. If we're going like 10-8, 10-7, I think that's like 10-7 rounds on those.
Guys, are we seriously having this fucking debate? Like, am I in the twilight fucking zone right now? Like,
well, you're having Mike disagrees, but
side chest.
What are we talking about here? Like,
so that's not aesthetic. I'll just straight up say it.
That's
not aesthetic either.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Bodybuilding
matters.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Bodybuilding's not about aesthetics.
Fouad, come on, bro.
Bodybuilding is only partially about aesthetics.
Back then, it was much less about aesthetics. The guys now are both fucking at that level of size and lean, and their aesthetics.
Nobody touches Coleman.
Guys, I don't know. Like this is really insane that we're having this conversation. Like, he makes Jay look like an amateur here.
Yes.
Like,
but Jay has soft glutes in that fucking photo.
It doesn't matter about his. It doesn't matter about his glutes. Look at his back.
Oh, come on. Jay's back looks good to me, man.
Not even remotely close to that.
Jay's shoulders are bigger.
It's the glutes and the hams that are bigger.
Yeah, well, so that's a conditioning issue. But Big Ramy had fucking deep-ass glutes in his fucking last Olympia win.
Oh, there's literally a side chest with them staying next to each other. Ronnie and Big...
Yeah, Big Ramy wins that by a fucking mile. What the fuck are we
he wins potentially wins the pose because Ronnie's not posing it properly.
Ronnie never did pose properly, man. That's part of the fucking thing.
Guys, I'm serious. Like, this is wild to me. Like, I can put photo after photo. Like, this doesn't even register.
Pull up some fucking Big Ramy photos then in his fucking prime, and it also looks nice.
It looks nice, but not best of all time.
Wait, you're typing Ronnie Coleman again.
Oh, shit.
2020 Ronnie
That's
Coleman.
what I meant to do, motherfucker.
Yeah, then you get Ronnie with the fucking
there is only Ronnie.
Yes.
I mean, Christ, look at that. What is that?
Yeah.
It's aesthetics.
I think he beats the shots. I think the
pounds.
back is just way too much of a variance, you know?
Look at that back. Click on that fucking photo in the gym, Fouad.
Oh, no. We're not going to compare stage photos with gym photos.
Yeah, but Ronnie has a fucking whatever.
Here.
Here.
Are you talking about the half back here? You think this is amazing?
It's a fucking great back.
Well, no, you'd have to do 2020, Arnold, not 20.
Look at his fucking glutes.
This is
What
the 2020
fuck?
Arnold right here.
Yeah, that
Looks
side. Yeah.
fucking
I'm
unbelievable.
sorry, guys. This back's
Go
not even
down
close.
on the right side there. Bottom right side. Yeah, there.
Yeah, this back's not close.
It's a fucking great back.
Guys, come on. Mike, are you serious right now?
I'm dead serious, bro. Put them next to each other.
I think you're fucking. I'm done. I think Mike's fucking with me. I'm not even like you're trolling my ass so hard
I'm just
right now.
gassing you up.
And I'm
I don't even
totally,
know
like-
if I'm trolling you anymore.
I
It's like double
totally
trolling.
I totally like fall for the shit. I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be.
No. I do. So the shape plus size of 98, 99, 2001 Arnold Classic Ronnie
Yes.
is a special magical thing. The only thing, not at a bodybuilding stage, but aesthetically that beats that is Flex Wheeler 1993 in his prime. That physique to me, that quarter turn flex, that ends all of bodybuilding. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's it.
If
But
you're-
while reference to size, I think nobody fucks with Keon, to be completely honest. I think Keon is the perfect.
If you're
human being.
talking, if your perspective on bodybuilding is leaning more aesthetically, then yes, 93 Flex Wheeler, probably the greatest bodybuilder to ever live.
Yeah.
But if you're-
I'm all in the camp of like a 2011-13 Phil Heath.
That was a great look.
But are you talking about just if you're leaning heavily aesthetics?
If
Like
I'm picking
pretty.
someone that I think is the closest to being the next best all-time bodybuilder to Ronnie.
No,
and I
that's not what I'm saying.
like close,
I'm
I think
agreeing,
it's Lynn.
but I'm agreeing with Mike because Mike seems to lean heavily on the aesthetic look and prettiness of a physique.
Well, I think
There
I
isn't really a prettier physique than Flex Wheeler's, especially in that early years.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of that one, but yeah.
Seth, what do you
Nothing
think?
nice to say.
No, look, I think Flex is awesome, but I think you can't like Mike said earlier. I don't think you can compare him to guys with today's standards. He was competing at 218 pounds, man.
Yeah,
like
totally.
No,
He would
no,
get
but
lost in the lineup.
we're looking
he,
like
he wouldn't even be comparable to guys now.
I'm not talking
He's a
about
classic
that.
physique.
I'm not making that comparison. I'm saying if you're talking about the prettiest physique of all time, is there a prettier physique than Flex Wheeler's?
My only contention is
Seth, why are
that
you so quiet?
Keon, modern day Keon, is goddamn close because
Seth,
Keon.
why
and
are
some
you
of his
so
poses
quiet?
are crazy.
This is why bodybuilding is so
Oh,
much.
would you shut the fuck up with your just give me
Stop
your
being
opinion?
positive.
No,
Say,
no.
get on a gram of trend. Get on
No,
here.
no, it's
mean
not
as
that you're-
fuck.
It's not
You
the
have to-
positive.
you-
Don't talk around the
Fucking
argument.
Halo.
Jump in.
Listen,
I want to know your opinion.
Ronnie Coleman is an alien. Within bodybuilding, it's not just
The
about
prettiest physique.
aesthetics,
Prettiest
it's
physique.
prettiest physique, Flex Wheeler, prettiest physique,
Okay.
biggest. So if we're talking about like wildest looks because of what we're doing in bodybuilding, you're trying to capture lightning in a fucking bottle, dude. Phil Heath in 2011, insane.
That's like
dude
that's my favorite look at all of it.
that dude walking out on stage dropped jaws. People were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
So
Whenever
Seth,
Ronnie-
is Phil Heath, you think the best bodybuilder of all time or second best bodybuilder of all time?
Second,
Okay.
Ronnie Coleman's number
There's
one.
only one Ronnie Coleman.
So
There's
do you
the-
think, so let me ask you this then. Out of the top 5 Olympians this year, last year, the last 10 years, or top 10 Olympians, how many of them can beat Dorian Yates?
Oh. Again, I wish I would have saw Dorian in prime because I saw Phil Heath in person and I was like, if you were there, you were like, we were there. Like, it was like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah, I remember.
This is insane. So I think that the level has continued to progress up, and that's what the sport is supposed to do. That's what every Mr. Olympia has done, is they have leveled up the sport. Dorian Yates did it. Ronnie Coleman did it. Like Ronnie Coleman
But I think
Coleman ruined Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, Chris Cormier. He ruined their fucking dreams of being the best bodybuilder ever. He took every bit of everything away from them every year for 8 straight fucking years. Jay Cutler chased him. Jay Cutler's whole entire MO has been created by one man. So you mean to tell me that Ronnie Coleman changed the sport, literally ruined at least 5 other incredible bodybuilders that would probably be Mr. Olympias and go down as a number, whatever they were at that time, number 11, 12, 13, whatever it may be. And then you have another guy who was known as the greatest ambassador and one of the best bodybuilders of all time, literally created that man being Jay Cutler. Like, that dude changed the fucking sport and changed how everybody looks at it, because you were 300 pounds, 320 pounds in the off season, 280 freak hanging lats. Your glutes looked like fucking horse legs. Like, it was nuts.
Guys, is it 11 o'clock right now?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been
on for 3 hours.
My legs hurt. 2003, Ronnie Coleman. I remember going to muscletime.com to check out the Olympia prejudging photos in 2003. And I went to my ex-girlfriend's house down to the basement. I logged on the internet and I pulled it up because there was that big, like, for that show that was Gunter versus Jay versus Ronnie, Flex Magazine hype. And I was like, okay, I'll fuck with this, whatever. And I remember seeing those first pictures of Ronnie. I just started laughing. And then I was like, the show's over. And everyone said the same thing. As soon as Ronnie walked out, they were like, what the fuck is that? And it was done. And like, apparently Jay and Gunter were also like that, like, whatever, that's its own thing.
I asked Jay that when he was on the podcast. I said to him, I said, how'd you feel in 2003 backstage? He's like, Fouad, Ronnie took off his clothes. I just said, oh, fuck. that was his response.
But you didn't answer the question. How many Mr. Olympias do you think beat Dorian?
Well, like Seth, I never saw him in person, but if we're going to play the game,
I think 4.
it's not Mr. Olympias that I was disputing. Mike originally said that the top 10 of today's Mr. Olympia could beat Dorian.
I didn't say Dorian. I said a lot of the guys from back in the day. I think Dorian is pretty modern.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Haney and the guys before that. Yeah, like
I agree with that. I agree with that. I thought you meant Dorian. That's why I was having it.
No. But like, there's guys in the top 10 that can fuck with Dorian. Like, I think an in shape Hunter Labrada is a fucking dangerous guy to teleport back to 1993. Is all I'm trying to say.
I mean, if you like throw Andrew Jack back.
I was going to say.
Oh my God. Fuck Samson. Like, holy shit, he can fucking Samson in really good shape. Dorian, who? You know what I'm saying? And all meant with the utmost respect for one of the greatest of all time.
Well, actually, it's
obviously
funny.
You guys talk shit all the time. You're used to this sort of thing.
It's funny you said that. I just before we go, last question. If Samson were to achieve Ronnie's level of condition, I know it's a huge if, whatever. Let's play that game. Where does he fall in the list of Mr. Olympias? If he wins the Olympia, assuming he won the Olympia with that conditioning.
What body weight do you think he would be on
stage?
Is
he appearing to look the same size he looks now?
He hasn't shrunk. You see the same physique, but it's as conditioned as Ronnie.
And he's up in that top 3-4 all time for sure.
It puts him behind
top
Phil,
10.
I think.
It's close. I don't know. I'm some of
Or
Jay's
behind
best looks are pretty fucking awesome.
Jay, I'm sorry, I forgot about Jay. You know what's
can't
funny?
Forget about
Jay,
the best bodybuilder of all time, which is actually Ramy. So I mean, clearly he has to be behind Ramy.
I can't believe you got me with that, and I ran with it for so long.
I was fucking serious, at least halfway.
No, but you know what? One thing we should mention: Jay was the top 2 bodybuilder for like 12 fucking years or something like that, because
crazy.
He was second place at the 2001 Mr. Olympia.
Correct.
And then he had won a bunch of Arnolds. I think he won 3 altogether. And then he was second place or Mr. Olympia all the way through until like 2010.
Yeah.
Or 2000 or 2011.
No, he won his first Olympia in 2006.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he was first or second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he was first or second bodybuilder in the entire world for like a decade.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a fucking, and he's
until 2009.
And a lot of times it's funny because he's left out of the conversation when you talk about like,
what year did he not compete?
I think
11.
2011.
Yeah. But yeah, he's left out of the conversation of like top 2, top 3 bodybuilders in the world. I mean, he was like a decade long. He was 1 or 2, and he had
I think Jay is like number 3 all time for sure.
Yes.
But I think if you look at like a lot of polls, Dorian is usually above Jay.
Yeah, because of the Olympia titles, but it's only 2 more in a, and I think
1 more. What was it? 6 or 5 he won?
4 versus 6.
Yeah, 6. You're right.
But everyone forgets about Lee Haney, who also won 8. But it's just like it's difference between like 80s physique and before,
because it's a completely
physiques.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah. Dorian's like the first modern physique if you want to split it up like that. Also, another thing that comes to mind real quick is people remember folks for their cultural contributions and their freakiness. Like Jay Cutler's cultural contribution was that he was a really nice guy, and then his freakiness, like Jay is enormous and shredded and all that, but he's almost so balanced and he's so few veins that you're like, yeah, he's great. But like, you got to see it in real life. Like, yeah, he's great on pictures. Ronnie with all that shit, all those fucking veins, it sticks in people's minds. Like, you're never going to forget a Ronnie Coleman in his prime. You're never going to forget Phil Heath, those dumbass arms of his. Holy fucking shit. You look at Jay, you're like, that's a great bodybuilder, it's Mr. Olympia, but there's nothing, you know what I mean? It's taking nothing away from it. There's something special and different about people remembered.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I also think adding the DVDs to it makes a big difference.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Watching Ronnie train in those DVDs for years on end, I was like, it just sticks in your fucking head.
100%.
So it like adds to the persona of the person.
I mean, anyway. I'm a massive Dorian Yates fan. I think the only thing that hurts him in this conversation is the fact that he's not as complete as the other people.
Agree.
Whenever he tore his bicep, like you see that, you're like, you can't unsee it now.
Yeah.
And then like his legs were crazy dense and stupid hard and just
sweeping around.
Didn't crazy sweep like Jay and shit. Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing that hurts him in the conversation. Other than that, he was a freak. He's insane.
All right, guys, been 3 hours and 15 minutes. I got to order McDonald's before Uber Eats cancels the order. Seth, you want to lead us off with a short prayer before we get out of here?
Sure. All right.
We always say a prayer before we go. Hope you're okay with that.
Namaste.
Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to get together again. We thank you for the opportunity of being who we are in life and able to entertain the masses and what we love to do. We thank you for all of our support, for all of your support for this insane life that we live. And please watch over us. Please keep us in good health, good strength, and continue to keep us on the straight arrow and not do dumb stuff.
All right. Amen.
Thank you.
All right, boys. We'll see you in 10 days.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Peace, homies. Thanks so
much.
much.
Bye, guys. Bye.